Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is dark 30. I've still got morning voice. Sorry for the bit rate. Oh gosh. Let me close some things. Jeez. T-Mobile, find your connection. What's your major malfunction? All right. We have T minus 30 minutes until pre-orders go live. Um, boy, the connection better get better than that. Just give T-Mobile a second. It just takes a minute to find itself. It's the T-Mobile router isn't used to being awake this early. Okay. If you just give it a minute, the bit rate should improve. Um, so be uh be patient with me. It's early. Wow. Up early and outside in the car. Yeah, there's people in the house. I'm trying to not wake up people if at all possible. I'm trying to let everybody inside the house enjoy their beauty sleep. Um, I might even bring up the chat on the Tesla because I have premium connectivity, so I can read the chat from here. I just have to make sure. Yeah, let me move that. Make sure I'm on the right account. But what time is it where everybody else is checking in? Geez, we already have Kalyan Nikov joined Tailosive Tech Plus. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Haru also super chatted, just saying, let's go. Everybody, I hope you are in a part of the world where you don't have to get up as early as I do. Oh my God. Option Command Media super chatted, 10 bucks. It's pre-order tradition. Please sing a song. Um, Good morning. We're about to blow our paychecks. Good morning. What time is it for you? Good morning. We're blowing all our money. Good morning. You're gonna really make me keep doing that, aren't you? Okay. Uh, I don't want it playing audio again, so let me just make sure. Uh, there's gotta be a better way to do this. There's gotta be. Yeah, like Tesla theater mode is not letting me sign in. Zach, welcome to Tailosive Tech Plus. 8 p.m. in Japan. That's nice. Tyler Forte gets 6:30 a.m., 8:30 here in Canada. Oh, also, before I forget, Gabriel, I don't know if you're still watching, Gabriel, but someone super chatted yesterday, very, very early. They said, how much would you try to sell a 13 Pro Max for 128 gig graphite unlocked perfect condition? I think I did have one of those, except mine was 256 gig. Um, I would assume somewhere around the $500 range is what they're going for. Obviously, I would look at what other I haven't checked the market on 13 Pro Maxes recently, but whatever they are currently selling for, try to price it around that, and if you can't sell it, you just slowly bring it down, right? That seems like the best way to do it. So, yeah. 89 Tech Super Chatted. Just joined the stream. What are you buying? So, thank you for asking. I suppose I should ask. The Apple Store app, I just woke up and just ran out to the car so I could start this live stream. Geez, there's way too many donations. Imco Trudy. Good morning. 6:30 over here. I'm at work. Geez, everybody's tuning in from all different parts of the world. Thank you. 7:30 a.m. here in Trinidad. That's like a more reasonable hour. 12:30 in the UK. Still can't decide to get white titanium or black titanium. Yeah, I'm gonna check the Apple Store app because I did have an iPhone saved. I'm not sure if it's a good idea or not, but the one I had saved, here we go. Jeez. I apologize for the bitrate being all over the place. I really gotta turn off Chrome. It's probably not helping. Um, and the best way for me to do that would be, what happened to your account? There used to be a way to launch YouTube Studio from the Theater app, and I don't see it anymore. Ah, jeez. So many pixels, I know. Pre-order Series 10. I mean, you've been able to pre-order the Apple Watch since Monday. I already pre-ordered the AirPods 4, just for the record. So AirPods 4 have already been prepared, but I will be pre-ordering the white titanium 16 Pro Max. Yes, I'm going big. And we're going to hope that the studio microphones are as impressive as they sound. Yeah, that's ridiculous. They don't let me bring up the chat on Tesla Theater mode. What happened? There used to be a way to launch YouTube Studio on here. That's frustrating. Anyway, why are you pre-ordering an iPhone 16 but not a Pixel? Because at the end of the day, I'm an Apple sheep, and I know that iPhones hold their resale value fairly well, and Pixels do not. So I can save myself a lot of money by buying a secondhand or refurbished Pixel. Um, but if I wanted to get an iPhone relatively soon for the reviews, yeah, I wouldn't save much money. I'd have to wait a while before it depreciated to the point that I would actually be saving money buying it used. Um, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just frustrated by the fact that if I try to launch the YouTube Studio page on the browser, it just throws me to the Tesla Theater app. Oh boy. It's too early for me to do these troubleshooting things. But yeah, I would get the base storage just to be clear. I probably could make do. I could probably make do with 128 gigs, but I've seen how thin the bezels have gotten on the Pros this year, and it kind of makes me tempted to try um the bigger screen because it would make the bezels feel even smaller. Okay, I think I found a way to bypass the theater app on the Tesla. I just want to I'm trying to improve the bit rate if at all possible. Getting the 16 Pro white titanium, also ordered natural titanium Apple Watch 46 millimeter. Jeez. Another Apple Watch. Burnt 15 Pro Max is still awesome. Beautiful. Um, Good morning, everybody. Ben Close says, I believe I found a YouTube/Safari bug. For some reason, the live chat does not load in Safari. However, it does um, in Firefox. That is weird. I have not experienced that myself. And I've watched a lot of live streams on Safari. But we're also just a couple of days away from the official launch of. There we go. I think I got it. If the chat pops up on here, I can close it. Yeah. Cool. Okay, I'm closing Chrome. Hopefully that improves the bit rate here. Let's see. Ultra 2 in black. Oh, people are ordering the black Apple Watch Ultra. Dylan White, thank you for 24 months of support. Very generous, very kind of you. Getting AirPods 4, Watch 10 Titanium, and 16 Pro Max this year. Wow. Say goodbye to all the monies. They're all gone. Really want the Series 10 watch, but I don't know if modular Ultra watch faces will work. Modular Ultra watch faces. I don't understand why they wouldn't, considering how much screen real estate you have. The Series 10 is like the biggest display ever on an Apple Watch, but not by much if you've seen comparisons from before. Apple definitely made it sound like a bigger deal than it really is, in my opinion. Um, did not look like a giant change in the screen size when you put it next to Series 8, Series 9 on all that. Um, I keep searching the Apple Store app. I need to move it outside of the home screen so that I can relaunch it and open it over and over again. Let me make sure we're ready. Gaber Jr., thank you for the super chat. He says, why white, not the new color, 2:40 p.m. in Egypt? The new color isn't new, it's just gold. I think people are building it up in their minds. It's like, ooh, desert titanium. It's literally just gold. They've done gold before. They just got rid of it last year and then they brought it back. I don't know. I'm not feeling the gold. I've never really been a gold iPhone guy. The white iPhones tend to dissipate heat better in direct sunlight. Um, so I'm looking for the phone that will have the least amount of overheating issues, unlike this phone, which, by the way, in the process of filming the recap video for the event, I lost a bunch of footage because my iPhone 15 Pro overheated. If you like gold, then get gold, but don't expect me to buy it because I've got a good white theme going. I got a white car with a white interior, and I got a white phone, and I've got the little white accents going everywhere, so I'm just keeping it going. But buy the color you like. The color sucks for Pro Max. Well, I'm not really buying it as much as a toy. The main appeal to me of buying the Pros, and again, just to be clear, I'm not committing to it yet. If I try it out and I'm not impressed with it, I won't keep it. But the main reason I'm tempted to review and potentially try out for recording videos is the Pro Maxes is because the studio grade microphones. This has a very large chance of uh, permanently keeping me away from the Pixels because the Pixels, if they don't have that same studio grade microphones, are now, in my opinion, a lot more work. Like, if it's a tool, right, then I don't really care so much about the color aesthetically. If we're just purely talking aesthetically, I think the black titanium looks awesome. Like, I think it looks really, really cool. Um, so if we were just buying it based on looks, desert titanium to me just looks like gold, and I don't know. Trying to make a smartphone feel goldish is just kind of like jewelry to me. Um, and I don't want the phone to really feel like jewelry. And there's a decent chance I'm going to slap a case on it anyway. So a large chunk of the time, it may not even matter what color it is. But good news because there's been a lot of disappointment this year. Like for example, I will just go ahead and say it now. If it weren't for the studio grade microphones, this would be a very easy pass for me this year. My 15 Pro, even with some of its overheating issues, um, gets the job done for the most part. Like, I'm very happy with the camera sensors on the back. I can extend the battery life very easily thanks to accessories like this, where I just slap it on the back and it starts charging. Um, and even a lot of the reasons that I was considering getting a Pixel are kind of less important now that I've figured out that yeah, it's not that hard to get rid of the camera wobble, and you can just have a kickstand out the back. Um, yeah, Dylan definitely didn't watch the last video. um, yeah, I know I sound high, but I'm really just not used to being awake this early. Um, Scooter 54, by the way, thank you for joining Tailosive Tech Plus. Very kind of you, very generous. Um, they're saying I'm a little bit quiet. I'm showing my volume levels in the yellow, so if I turn myself up any louder, I'm gonna start peaking. But um, do they accept PayPal at checkout for pre-orders? I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Um, Try to convince me to upgrade my Apple Watch Ultra 1 when it is still a good battery health at 95%, no scratches. I refuse, James. No, I think you should keep your Ultra One. That's still a great watch. I had the Pro Max Titanium. It was so hard to decide or find a case to my liking as well, so I'm back to the black titanium this year. Yeah, it's a good look, but I don't think it will dissipate heat the best. The brighter the color basically, then the better it will reflect heat. And I record a lot of videos outside or in direct sunlight, so I'm doing whatever I can to reconnect, please. There you go. Sorry for the buffering. The T-Mobile router is not used to being up this early. Vish A says, great to see you this morning. I feel like I've watched you grow up on YouTube. Wow. Yeah, in real time, you can watch a man slowly slip into insanity. Insanity. We're back. Sorry, there was a slight hiccup. Now the bit rate is great. Now T-Mobile's connection is at like 4,000. So hopefully it stays there. I apologize. Ugh, I can't believe the bit rate is all over the place like this. It's ridiculous. Now there's all these pixels everywhere. No, I'm in the car. Actually, my wife wanted me to stream in the house, but I know that it's very early and we have company, so I didn't want to wake people. I didn't want to wake people up because I knew when I do live streams, I talk louder and I didn't want to whisper through the whole thing. So I was like, let me go out to the car because then I can get loud without waking people up. So also, I don't have my MacBook charge brick. If you listen to the podcast, you know why. And my car is actually the fastest charger I have right now. Yeah, the bit rate was super high, and then right as I said that, it dove back down again. It's weird. Normally, I can stream out here fine, but it's just acting weird today. It's bizarre. Yeah, the pixels are telling me to go Pixar. Is the regular 16 going to have the new battery casing? I'm not sure what the battery casing is, but if you're talking about the new heat sink that they're building in, it's not a vapor chamber, but there is like more aluminum layers, I guess, in order to help dissipate heat. Yes, that is not just a pro feature that's on the regular 16s as well. But yeah, I would not be interested in upgrading if it weren't for the studio grade microphones. I really want to try those out because if they do genuinely sound good, and they could help me replace the Zoom microphone so I don't have to plug in a Zoom mic every time I record tech and EV videos, that would be a huge selling point to me. Um, so I don't need the capture button. I don't need the what do you call it? Camera control button. That's not a huge selling point to me. I can use the camera app the old-fashioned way. I've got no problem with just pinching to zoom or using the action button. I think that's plenty. I actually think the camera control button might overcomplicate a few things, but yeah, I apologize for the bit rate. I know it's jumping all over the place. It needs a moment to stabilize. It's early. It's early for T-Mobile home internet. That's why it's confused, I think. But as long as you can hear me. Let's see. I've been converted to AI. Yes. Pixel looks nicer, but long-term Apple devices are better. Well, we'll have to see. I'm not closing the door on Pixels, but we do have to see what Apple's got cooking up with the 16 Pros, that's for sure. I still intend on reviewing Pixels at some point. The Pixel 9s, I mean, because I've heard a lot of great things about the Pixel 9 Pro. I've been watching reviews of them. I still think it's a beautiful phone. Um, so I would like to try it out at some point, but people say ordered through AT&T. Wow. Some people have already finished their pre-order through their carriers. That was fast. What time is it for me? It's 4:50 a.m., which is why I'm in my car in case you missed it because I don't want to wake up people in the house. Just got here. Which model are you getting? I'm shooting for the Pro Max, but just to be clear, I want to remind everybody you probably don't need to do what I'm doing right now. There's a lot of people based on the chat and based on the community reactions after the Apple event that seem to be saying like they're not upgrading. And because I don't think this is a big year for the iPhone, I don't think it's like a year where they brought a lot of changes. I'm only interested because the studio grade microphones, but I don't think most people care. Most people aren't going to be recording, professional videos off their iPhone mic all the time. So most people are probably not pre-ordering the new iPhones. So I think you could probably sleep in. I probably could have slept in and waited until, you know, whenever I normally wake up to pre-order, and I likely still could have got it on launch day. Um, yeah, I'm going to be very tired by the end of this, but Nicholas Linthicum, thank you for 14 months of support. Very generous. He says, I just got a new job requiring me to work longer using my phone, so the bigger battery is making me upgrade my 15 Pro Max. If I'm not impressed, I will return. Even what I said Monday, I am actually upgrading. Just remember, You don't have to upgrade your iPhone just for better battery life. You can buy very cheap MagSafe battery pack accessories. This is 10,000 milliamp hours. Even if you buy a 16 Pro Max, it's still only going to have like 4,800 milliamp hours on it, and you can just slap this on the back of any iPhone and double or triple your battery life. But I'm just saying. But yeah, I got a new job as well where I'm using my phone a lot, and there are times where I'm recording videos that go on for a while. So I'm actually more interested in upgrading for the microphones because of how they may perform in varying scenarios like being outdoors or outside or where there's wind involved. And they said they've made a lot of improvements in that regard, which is kind of important to me. So um, yeah, if your job requires you to use your phone, then um, they should pay you to they should be paying for your phone. I agree with that. They should. But that's a funny word, isn't it? And the bill. Um, I have two iPhones and two MacBooks on the Apple site app still waiting. Jeez. What are you gonna do with two? 89 Tech, thank you for the super chat. The white iPhone 16 looks clean. I might get it. It does look clean, but I don't think that's a great reason to buy a phone because you're probably gonna put a case on it, and aside from the iPhone 16 colors being much better than the iPhone 15 colors, I don't think the feature set over the regular 15 is that great. It's like Apple Intelligence, action button, spatial photos, spatial videos, macro mode, and camera control. All of them are kind of techie, geeky things that, in my opinion, are somewhat gimmicky. I know the colors aren't great on the iPhone 15, but Javier says, "Are we all in our cars?" I don't know if you guys are, but I just wanted a good place where I knew I had access to a fast charger, and I wanted to be able to talk as loudly as I wanted without waking up people in the house because it's very early. Although my neighbors are probably confused. Mike Kimmel has been a member for 3 months now. I'm a wee little baby. 3 months. Thank you for your support. Oh my God, that's funny. Uh, Scooter said, I preferred the blue on the 15 Pro, but that's just me. And that's still an option. You could still get a 15 Pro. Maybe not from Apple, but you can find them on Amazon or eBay for uh, probably the same price as an iPhone 16. And then you get 120 hertz. Um, People, there's only one other person in the house, Drew. That's not true. We have company over. That's why I mentioned earlier. We've got family visiting, so it's more than just my wife. But also, even if it was just my wife, um, I wouldn't want to wake her up because it's very early and it's her day off today, actually. So I'd love to buy a 15 Pro. Yeah, Swappa as well. Stetson Doggett is in the chat. Stetson has a great channel for those who don't know. He's the guy with the verified check. He showcases a lot of great carrier deals and plans, and I guarantee it. If you watch his stuff, you're probably going to save some money. Um, how much storage we getting? I'm personally, to be honest, I'm kind of on the fence between Pro and Pro Max because I like big phones and I cannot lie. And I've been relatively satisfied with the size of this phone. I like how compact it is. So I'm a little bit nervous about just doing another size like this, but with a bigger screen because I'm like, I don't like being too middle of the road. I either want a mini iPhone or a max iPhone. I don't like the middle grade iPhones. It's like it's too small and too big simultaneously. I'd rather have a really compact phone that I'm like, wow, this is so comfortable, or I want a phablet that makes me feel like, wow, this is just an iPad mini at this point. Um, so I kind of get torn between the two, but Randy brought up a good point on the podcast, which is that if I do end up upgrading, it won't be for the camera control button. It won't be because of Apple Intelligence. The only thing that's really going to convince me to actually upgrade and keep it is if I'm genuinely impressed with the studio grade microphones to the point that I don't need to use my external Zoom mic anymore. And if that means it frees up my USB-C port so that I can plug in an external SSD, um, then I won't have to record things locally as often. Right now, because my USB-C port is occupied with the Zoom mic, I store all of my work videos locally and then I airdrop them to my Mac and then I delete the footage after I've airdropped them. but it could simplify and streamline a lot of the process if I can record directly to an external SSD because the onboard microphones have gotten so good. That would let me unplug the SSD, plug it into my Mac, and just drag the file over. And then I get access to the faster transfer speeds, which also kind of diminishes part of the reason I was convinced to switch to Pixel, because I actually had an easier file transfer process on the Pixel, ironically, than the iPhone, because all of the file importing processes on the iPhone to the Mac are dated and slow and don't actually take advantage of the faster USB-C port, which is why I was actually a little disappointed. And I probably could have been totally fine using the iPhone 15 if I'm being honest. I was torn between the 15 and the 15 Pro. I ended up specking upwards to the 15 Pro, and now I kind of regret it. But this time around, I'm like, well, if it's for a review, I can always change my mind and go back and get a cheaper one. But um, I figured go big or go home, right? If this one is definitely for review purposes, we're not sure if it's for keeping purposes. I'll try out the Pro Max because I haven't had the big phone for a while. Before the 15 Pro, I was using iPhone 11, and before that, I was using the SE or the iPhone 10. So I've been using small phones for a while. Kevin, the software tester, says, pro tip, use the app to pre-order. I always do. It's right down here, and it's still down for me. We love that early energy. Um, but yeah, I'm working on it. Um, I could probably make it work with 128 gigs now, because if I do plug in the external SSD, then all of that work footage that I'll be recording will be going straight to that. But the truth is, there are often times where I'm recording videos on trips, or if I'm doing an interview with a CEO or something where I have not enough space, or it becomes too problematic to try to hold the SSD and the phone simultaneously. So it might not be the worst idea to have more local storage. But Gaber Jr., this is their third super chat on a live stream. Wow, he says, I've gone caseless for 9 months. Have you thought? He just said, have you thought? Have you thought about it? He probably meant to say more there. I'll try to look for his follow-up message. I like going caseless, but after my last trip where we had that drop on concrete scare, it did make me think I should probably have a case of some kind, even if I don't use it all the time. That was one thing that I appreciated about the case from Taurus I ended up using on my 15 Pro, is they made it pretty easy to remove. So whenever I don't feel like having a case on my phone, you just, oh, sorry, bam, and it's off. It's early in the morning. Sorry, I made it look harder than it usually is. But yeah, there's been several times where I'm like, I want to feel the edges, and I'm home, and I'm not worried about it falling over. But honestly, it's kind of hard to go back to using it caseless. Even though I prefer holding the phone caseless, if I'm working, there's so many instances where, like, I'm in the kitchen, I'm making lunch or something, but I want to have my phone up because I'm talking to my wife on FaceTime, or I'm watching a YouTube video or something, and this kickstand on the back is honestly quite convenient. Michael Burkhart, 11 months of support. Thank you very much. Says, will I be upgrading to iOS 18? Yes, I will. Not only because it'll be out of beta, but also because um, I will most likely have a secondary iPhone a week from today, when the iPhone 16s officially launch. And yeah, mine hasn't launched yet. I'm still refreshing the app. I'm working on it. But yeah, I'll have a backup phone, so I'll have redundancy, I guess. But yeah, I'll get to make some content on iOS 18, which I haven't done any in-person reviews on yet. This is the first year I didn't install the beta because my phone is just becoming too important for my work, so I was hesitant to install any beta software on it. Clock is ticking. It's almost time. William says, I have a 13 mini, but its battery life isn't great. Should I upgrade to the 16 Pro for features and a better battery? I would say if there's features you care about, then consider it, but I wouldn't do it just for the battery. You could either replace the battery inside for much cheaper probably than upgrading to a 16 Pro, or you could buy like a $40 MagSafe battery pack. And this will easily, I think with the Mini, it could triple your battery life. And this only cost me like, well, it did cost me, but this only set you back like $40. This is a $40, 5,000 milliamp hour MagSafe battery pack that you could slap on the back of a Mini, and boom. Um, Stetson says I didn't install the beta on my personal phone either. I also had several people telling me that the beta was very unstable and very buggy. So the people who did have the beta were telling me don't do it, it's not worth it. So that kind of convinced me not to do it as well. Um, People are saying, yeah, battery life could be better. I've already been disappointed with how hot my phone gets on the public build, so um, I'm not that pumped or interested about Apple Intelligence. I'm sorry. None of the features I've seen so far. Um, yeah, I mean, even though I don't think there will be a huge line. Oh, here we go. Pre-order, pre-order. Let's go. It says continue. All right. Oh, it remembered my information. Look at that. Pre-order now. Let's do it. Check out with Apple Pay. Let's go. Pick up in store. Yes. Um. Oh, first in line. That's good. We got to make sure it's on the Apple Card as well. Uh, that is not the Apple Card. Oh my God. Let me see if it works. Double click. Let's go. That's a lot of money. $1,291. Boom. We look forward to seeing you soon. We got it. Wow, that one actually launched pretty quick. That was pretty fast. It's 5:02 and I'm done. That was easy. Sometimes in years prior, it would take like 5 to 10 minutes for the store to go live for me. And I got the first check-in window at 8 a.m. So literally, like I could be first in line. Um, Not that it's that hard because I think this is probably going to be a more minor year. I don't think it's going to be a super cycle. I don't think there's going to be a bunch of people there lining up to buy it. But yeah, we got it. Let me check email. Reconnect. Reconnect. Come on, T-Mobile. Yeah, okay. Connection's back. Sorry about that. T-Mobile had a little freak out. Um, yeah, in years prior, it would take a long time for the Apple Store app to go back. Some people are saying hasn't. This was the easiest pre-order you ever. Yeah, I'm grateful it actually remembered my information. In years prior, I'd have to enter it all over again. That was a mess, but that was so fast. Yeah, I got my confirmation email, which is good. So we are set. I'll be picking up AirPods 4 and a 16 Pro Max, 256 gig. Here it is. I think we're good. Ta-da! All right. Force quit and reopen for the people who are still waiting. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's what I usually do. I will launch the app and close it again and launch it and close it again. Um, can anybody donate their 15 Pro, please? This isn't a good place to do that. There's probably websites that are good at sharing, like, I'm just notifying the Twitter people. Um, that I got it. Okay. People are getting desert titanium. Should we run a poll? Please help white or desert. Now is not the time to decide the color. Actually, I think everybody's got a ton of time. I don't think delivery timelines are going to slip very quickly. Pre-order is seamless. Kevin, the software guy, says, get me one too for my birthday next week. Hey, happy birthday. Let's do a poll. I think most people are probably pre-ordering pros. I'll do best. Oh, jeez. It is very hard to type on here. Um, let's see what colors people are getting. I wouldn't be shocked. Oh God. I wouldn't be shocked if most people are getting the desert titanium because you're all so predictable. Sorry. Desert. Let's try a different one. White. I got the white just because uh of thermal concerns. Black. It's funny that natural titanium gets to stick around another year though. Um, but they're all kind of different shades. Even natural titanium doesn't really look. All right. I started the poll. There you go. You can let people know which color. Uh oh, Scooter 54 says he got the black. Matt D says I got the 16 Pro Maxes, one black and one desert. Two? You got two Pro Maxes? Jeez. How much money you making there, man? My goodness. I wish I had your job. People are saying I'm stuck on the landing page. Uh like that I'm 50% over my Apple Card limit. Whoa. Wait, over? I don't know if you're allowed to do that. You can go over the limit? Well, 3% cash back really starts to pay for itself at this point, doesn't it? Is the iPhone 16 ultramarine like a violet or more of a blue? I think it's a blend. I think it's a little bit of both, but I haven't seen them in person, and in my experience, Apple iPhone colors can look pretty different on the website versus in person. Sometimes worse, sometimes better. Um, I ordered the Pro Max and Pro as I'm not sure if I will like the max size, but wanted to see. That's probably what I should have done. Dylan says you can. There's no penalties for going over. Oh, well, what? Why even have a limit at that point? Stetson says I got a Pro Max in desert for YouTube videos, and I got a regular Pro in black for personal use. Oh, that makes sense. That's a good call. Um, should have probably ordered both. That's what I should have done. Ooh. Paul Radiker says I got a black 16 Pro and 256 gig. That's gonna be a slick looking iPhone. Penn says he got a black titanium. Good, good. Um, this style first year I got one on the first try. Yeah. I mean, I think everybody is gonna get. I think you could pre-order one 5 hours from now and still get it on launch day. That's my personal prediction. After I pre-ordered that, it's already recommending me. It's like, oh wait, this is just recent activity. Never mind. I thought it was recommending me buy earpods. I'm like, why does it want me to buy wired earpods? I guess I could play around with the Apple Store page, look around. My personal prediction is that hardly any iPhones will have uh delivery timelines slipping. Um Especially the regular ones. I don't think there's going to be a bunch of people because the type of people to pre-order iPhones are likely the type of people that want the pros, not the regulars. Option Command Media, thank you for the super chat. He said, "Tip: if you're stuck on the landing page, turn on airplane mode, close out of the app, and jump in. Then turn airplane mode off. Secured the 16 Pro in white." Hey, we're gonna be twinsies, right there. Natural titanium with the 15 Pro Max. Oh, good choice, Jacob. Still stuck on a wait in India. It's been 8 minutes. Oh wow, I didn't realize India might have to wait longer. Nicholas says I ordered white titanium in the 16 Pro Max, so it is clean. Natural titanium to me definitely lost its vibe. Well, keep in mind this: that you're probably always going to end up wanting the color that you don't have, because the color you do have you see all the time. So you get tired of it, you get sick of it faster. Whereas the colors you don't have are always going to feel more attractive. So there is a part of me that feels a little bit weird buying white titanium because I have a white titanium 15 Pro, and I'm like, that's not going to look different from what I already have. But I'm like, Drew, it's a tool. Think about the objective advantages of the thermals of white titanium and focus on that and not dwell on. But the black titanium looks cool. It's like, Drew, you're going to probably throw a case on it and hardly see it anyway. You're not going to be thinking about that kind of thing. But isn't this crazy that they actually show Apple Intelligence on the configurator? Who cares? Why do you need to bring that up? Everything on this page already has Apple Intelligence. So why even list it? It'd be like saying, by the way, the iPhone 16 has a display. Apple Pie says, got it. 16 Pro Max, natural titanium, and green iPhone 16. Oh, you got both. Congrats. Mojo says, I wanted to let you know I've been in this live every year since the 10s Max. Wow. Yeah, it's really kind of like Christmas for the tech community, isn't it? It's like a celebratory, like, oh, Drew's live. There must be pre-orders going on. Ben Close says Apple Intelligence is the biggest gimmick ever added to iPhone. I agree wholeheartedly, man. I really don't get it. They've tried to showcase features that are impressive, and all of them have been mid to me. Whoa, this is Christian's first ever super chat on a live stream. Drew, I didn't get an order confirmation email. It's okay. Normally it takes a while, just to be clear, for them to send out the emails. It's actually kind of rare for them to send it right away. Um, but yeah, when they get a bunch of pre-orders all at the same time, it usually uh, can back up the servers and they can act a little slow. But yeah, at least for me on the configurator, iPhone 16 still available at launch. It still says September 20th at the top. I'll switch around the configurators. Let's go 512 gigs, also available at launch. 256 gigs, also available at launch, both for pickup and delivery. So nothing is slipping, at least on the regular iPhone 16. Doesn't matter which color I select. It all says available at launch. Sorry, my neighbors are leaving for work and they're probably very confused. They got in their car. Um, Mason Taylor says this is the first time I've pre-ordered an iPhone since the 6S Plus. Wow, that has been a while. SJ Doe just said confirmation took about 5 minutes for me after ordering. Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's typical. Oh wow, Jumbo Waffle Sponge says the pros have slipped. What? In the first 12 minutes? I gotta see this. I'm going back to the Pro configurator right now just to see if it's slipping. Let me go like base model. Let's try to look. Desert Titanium on a 16 Pro with 128 gigs. Yeah, no trade in, of course. Don't do trade in with Apple. It's always a bad deal. Always try to sell it. Only do trade in if you really don't want to sell it. No, mine is still available at launch. It still says September 20th, both for delivery and pickup. I'll switch to Pro Max. And that's on the Desert Titanium, the new color. Um, yeah, we'll go 256 gig. It's the entry model. We'll go unlocked. Delivery, pickup, and details updated. Did it? Oh! Wow, they did. That was fast. Okay, so for me, the base model Desert Titanium Pro Max is still available for pickup on launch day at the Apple Store. But if you want it shipped, it's already been pushed to September 30th. Over a week pushed back. That was quick. Yeah, Apple Pie is saying the same thing. In Hungary now, the shipping is slipping to September 30th to October 5th. Wow. Christian super chatted again. Thank you very much. Should I get the 16 Pro Max and trade in with Apple Care monthly installments? I mean, it's your money, you do you, but I wouldn't recommend that. I mean, I've never bought Apple Care, and so far it's never hurt me. Um, and the trade-in values I think are always a terrible deal. So I would recommend not trading in if at all possible. Christians now say, no, no, no. um, I would say if you can't afford to buy it outright, don't buy it at all. This is a relatively small purchase. So if you're financing it because you don't have the money for it, it's probably not a great deal. Just wait for them to go on sale or buy a last year Pro for much cheaper. Um, don't drop your phone or get a case, and cases aren't that expensive. If you can sell on Swappa, eBay, or Facebook Marketplace, you'll get more money for your old iPhone. Absolutely. I totally agree with Stetson. I've sold a lot of my iPhones on Facebook, not because I like Facebook, but simply because when you do local meetups and you sell to people in person, you don't have to pay for the shipping. You don't have to pay for the fees. You know, when you sell on eBay or Swappa, they can be good sites and good services, but they still want to take a fee of the overall sale. Whereas when you're just selling in person and you sell in cash, you get 100% of the sale. So you don't have to fuss around with shipping. But I've heard mixed things with Swappa. Scooter54 says Swappa is horrible. My buddy Randy has sold things on Swappa successfully many times. Trade in plus my carrier discount equals $800. Well, I try to remind people, and maybe Stetson will agree with me because he's more of the phone deal guy than I am. Um, how does Facebook Marketplace make money? They do offer shipping, and then they get a fee if you ship things on Marketplace, but you don't have to. Um, Canada is still stuck on the pre-order screen. Really, after 15 minutes. Geez, let me mess around with the configurator. I'll see if Stetson agrees. Okay, so for me, the 1 TB Pro Max is still available for delivery at launch. Um, Carrier deals are not necessarily saving you money. You're just paying for the phone in other ways because it's like, oh, my carrier gave me a discount, or if I buy it through them, they knock $100 or they knock $500 off the price. They're getting their money. They're just you're probably paying more than you would if you went with a smaller carrier or a cheaper carrier that doesn't offer those kinds of deals, um, like launch day deals, but they save you money. Like I'm using Mint Mobile, and I pay, you know, you can pay as little as I mean, I still have some referral perks and stuff, but most of my family is on the base tier because like a lot of people, they have Wi-Fi at home and they mostly just use Wi-Fi, and then when they go to work, usually their work has Wi-Fi, so they really only need cellular data when they're not at home and when they're not at work, which is not that often. So they buy the cheapest tier, and they're paying $15 a month. So you might be on Verizon paying $80 a month, so you're paying substantially more than the people that are on Visible or US Cellular. It's not just Mint Mobile, by the way. There's a lot of great budget carriers out there, and you can save money on your monthly bill, but people will stay with the big carrier and they'll keep paying $80 a month or $100 a month because, oh, well, they gave me a good deal on my phone upgrade. They saved me $200, but then over the course of the year, you're spending $500 more on cellular service. So carrier deals can also be kind of deceptive. They make you feel like you're getting a good deal, but in reality, it may not be that great. Um, Stetson also says carrier deals require you to be on the most expensive plans from the carriers. Right. So they get their money one way or another. But that's just me. You guys do you. Visible is great. I've been very happy with Mint Mobile so far, but all of those cheaper carriers offer, it really just comes down to coverage. So if you live in an area where Verizon is the best coverage, then Visible probably makes more sense. If you live in an area where T-Mobile is the best coverage, then Mint Mobile might make more sense. Um, Sonny Patel says my friend with Cricket sometimes has better coverage than me with AT&T. That's funny. Yeah, and that just depends on where you live. It's not like there's an objectively better carrier with a better coverage. It's just like it just depends where you are. Um, Option Command Media, thank you for the super chat. He says the raccoons on my porch also pre-ordered. Yay! Huzzah! How beautiful. Burkhart says I agree. Carrier deals are bad if you're the only one actually paying for it. Probably, yeah. I guess if you can get a carrier deal because like you're on your parents' plan and your parents are the ones paying for it, sure. I guess that's a good system. Hey, I'm not faulting anybody. It is a tough economy we're in right now. Financials aren't looking great for anybody. So I say, hey, if you're able to find a way to get your parents to cover you in whatever shape or form, whether they're paying your rent, whether they're paying for your health insurance or paying for your phone bill, I mean, be grateful for them. Tell them thank you. Tell them, hey, I really appreciate you, and treat them kindly and respect them and everything. But man, that's take advantage of that if they're willing to cover you. That's it's legal. It's something my grandma, God rest her soul, used to tell me as a kid. If someone offers you money and it's legal, you take it. So shout out to grandma. I just pre-ordered the Ultramarine 16 and a Desert Titanium 16 Pro Max for the pickup. What are you guys doing with the regular 16s? What are you gonna do with those cheaper iPhones? I want to know. Now all of my Apple stuff will be silver. I ditched the space black. All right, switching back and forth. Dylan says Cricket is AT&T, which makes that weird. That is weird. Um, in Germany, the regular 16s, only the blue 15 plus is sold out. Oh, okay. Let me mess around with the configs a little bit. Switching to 256 gig. Whoa! Wow. Okay, so the Desert Titanium Pro Max is unavailable, period, at my local Apple store. And if I want to deliver it, I got to wait till October 2nd to October 7th. So the base model Pro Max, at least, and that's in the first 20 minutes. It's only been 20 minutes since pre-orders went live. I did not expect this, for the record. I was totally unexpecting this. Um, I thought there would not be as many people pre-ordering this year. Hey, Christian. I don't know how to say your last name, so I don't want to butcher it. But thank you for joining Tailosive Tech Pro. Very kind of you. Very generous. Um, Why are you in your car so early anyway? Because I knew when I live stream, I get loud and I get excited, and the people in the chat. I didn't want to whisper through the whole thing. And my wife is asleep, and we have family in the house, so I'm just trying to be respectful of them. I don't want to wake up everybody in the house. So I came out to the car because, it kind of seals me in and I can get loud without a lot of people hearing me. Um, 16 Pro Max 256 gig in natural titanium, September 20th pickup. Okay, let me check other colors. Yeah, okay. Natural titanium is still available at launch for the 16 Pro Max. White titanium. Oh, wow. Okay. I take back what I said. Earlier in the stream, I was saying I don't need to do this. I don't need to wake up early because I don't think this is going to be a big upgrade year. I don't think that many people are going to pre order. I just plugged in the exact same iPhone. Andy Blaha also joined Tailosive Tech Pro. Very kind of you. Thank you, guys. I'm going to have to update the outro credits here. Why don't they call it whitanium? I got a white titanium Pro Max. The exact iPhone that I pre-ordered, the white titanium Pro Max, is now unavailable for pickup at my local Apple store, and it wouldn't deliver to me until October 2nd, and that's only 20 minutes into the pre-order period. So I take back what I said. I'm grateful that I got up early because had I have slept in and waited until 10 a.m. or not 10 a.m. When do I wake up? 7 or 8 a.m. I wouldn't have been able to get the iPhone at launch that I wanted. So lower stock of less popular models? I guess so, but natural titanium is yeah, natural titanium is still available at launch both for pickup and shipping. Black titanium though is sold out both for pickup and for shipping. It's pushed into October 2nd. Wow. The Pro Max seems to be the one everybody's nabbing. Yeah, 16 Pro black titanium still available at launch both for pickup and delivery. Desert titanium still available, no delays there. White titanium still available. Haru is now gifting Tailosive Tech memberships. What the heck? Um, Based Sith, which is a hilarious name, thank you. Uh, oh, Skylar Kelch got a membership. Nice. Based Sith said, "Did I ever like natural titanium? I saw it in person a few times. It was okay. I didn't like it as much as whitanium, but it's a nice look. It's kind of a unique, raw kind of natural color. I've seen it in person a few times, but it just it's kind of beige. It kind of reminds me of the old Macintoshes from the 80s and 90s. It's almost kind of like a nostalgic color to me. But it wasn't a color that made me go like, "Oh, I need to have that." It was just like, "Okay, it's a creative color, I suppose." Um Becky says got in immediately within 10 seconds for Titanium Pro Max September 18th. What? That's 2 days early. How the heck are you getting it at September 18th? That doesn't make sense. Simply Pop says I pre-ordered every color of the 16 Pro and regular 16. Every color. No wonder that the delivery timelines are slipping. This guy's stealing all the phones. Aiden Thompson. Oh my god, what is it? I'm gonna have to really update the outro credits. Thank you for joining Tailosive Tech Pro. That's very kind of you. Hey Drew, did you get your AirPods? No, AirPods 4 don't launch until a week from today, September 20th. So I'll get them on the same day that I get the iPhone 16. I'll probably do a video where I unbox both of them. Um, Someone in one of the videos I watched said natural titanium looks like the iPhone 6 space gray. Really? I don't see it. I've seen that. I've seen natural titanium in person, and I don't think it looks like that. I had a space gray iPhone 6, but pickup now unavailable from my local store in the UK. Geez, I'm not seeing any delayed timelines. Oh, never mind. For the regular 16 Pro is what I was gonna say, but you can ship it and get it at launch for the 16 Pro black titanium, but it's unavailable for pickup on launch. But desert titanium still no delays. White titanium no delays. Natural titanium no delays. Which I suppose is good. Oh, but that's for the 256 gig. Desert Titanium 16 Pro 128 gig isn't available at my local store on launch, but it is available for launch. Um, uh, if you ship it. You thinking about replacing your AirPods Pro 1 with AirPods 4A and C? I am. I am debating it because I know I want Type C. I've wanted that for a long time. I think I said on the podcast and on my streams for a while that uh I was mentally prepared to upgrade to AirPods Pro 2 anyway. I was like, I just want to keep using my AirPods Pro 1 until they die, because I know that AirPods die after a certain amount of time. So I was like, eventually I'm gonna upgrade these because the AirPods don't last forever, sadly. Um, but I mainly wanted active noise cancellation, of course. I was like, I don't want to go back to not having that. But now that I know that there's a cheaper pair of AirPods uh, that doesn't have the rubber tips, that might actually be more comfortable in my ear, because I've never been a fan of the rubber tips. They've always wanted to fall out of my ear. Ever since the beginning, I've had to be adjusting my AirPods Pro all the time. But now that I know I could get active noise cancellation without the rubber tips, that's super fascinating to me. And I was excited to see Snazzy Labs talk about it as well, because Quinn is the audio guy. He's the audiophile, and he was the one saying, that's kind of rare. There's not a lot of headphones that don't have a passive seal with the rubber tips that still have active noise cancellation. He said that's not a very common thing. So I'm curious to see how they work and how they feel. So obviously, if I try them out and they don't stay in my ear all that great, then I won't be as tempted to upgrade to them. But if they do fit in my ear great, then that might be worth keeping. But I'm also a little bit concerned about the battery life, because they mentioned that on the website, when you're using active noise cancellation, the battery life is only 4 hours, which is not great if I'm being honest, because I mainly like active noise cancellation when I'm mowing the lawn or on a flight. And a lot of the times I could be doing that kind of stuff for more than 4 hours. So the battery life is a concern and the comfort is a concern. That's why I'm not going to be able to know confidently if I'm keeping them until I actually pick them up and try them. Nicholas says, was just checking my email. My card said declined, even though the order went through via Apple. So I'm really confused. That is weird. If it's declined, usually they wouldn't um, say it's gone through. But there might be some experienced people in the chat that remember what to do. I'd probably talk to Apple about it. I feel like they usually check your payment with method when you pick it up in person, but if they're having it shipped to you, um, I don't know. Is noise canceling an effective method of hearing protection? It depends on the application. If you're talking about like mowing the lawn, yeah, but if you're talking about like shooting guns, probably not. I had something similar last time. Yeah, it said decline because you have to pick another time slot. Oh, interesting. Jamo Waffle says he had to update the card. There's a lag between the credit card and the order placement. Yeah, see, I didn't even get a charge on my Apple card, so I'm confused. Um, Apple pre-charges the bank to see if you have the funds, and they charge after it's been shipped. Okay, gotcha. Mowing your yard for 4 hours. I got a big yard. What can I say? I got a lot of grass to cut. What are your opinions on the new Apple Watch pricing? Is the Apple? I thought the Apple Watch price was the same, but yeah, it's fine. I mean, maybe it's different where you are, but for me, the Apple Watch prices didn't change. Um, Option Command Media says, "Hey, I was giving you money legally a bit ago, and you just gave it back to me. What? How did I give it back to you? Is that possible? See, back charging. Why doesn't the order show in my order history? There's probably some bugs. Just be patient. Sometimes it doesn't show up right away. Thank you for all the super chats, though. You're far too generous. Um, Andy Blaha super chatted. Jeez, even after becoming a pro member. And he says, I'm not pre ordering any of the new iPhone 16s because I have the 14 Plus in midnight that I bought in November of 2023. Well, I was gonna say good on you. I'm proud of you for saving money, but you just spent money on a super chat, Andy. Come on now. Thank you for the donation, but it's completely unnecessary. AirPods Pro 2 on Amazon, same price as 4 in Canada. That's true. So there's a lot of reasons to still go with an AirPods Pro 2 if you just buy them off Amazon. The main reason I would still be tempted to go with AirPods 4 is because I don't like the rubber tips. So if there's a way I can get the ANC in a more comfortable feel, I'm all in favor of that. So I have to see if that's possible. how good is the ANC and how good is the comfort of the new design. AirPods 3 were not that comfortable for me, but thankfully AirPods 4 is not the same shape. It's not the same design. Um, Connor Smith says, "Dang, my carrier site keeps going down." Oh, geez. Yeah, I don't like ordering through carriers. I did that for my original iPhone 10, and it was a giant nightmare. Um, David says, "Love you, man. Subscribed again to membership." Wow, you guys are far too generous. We've got so many new channel members in this stream, so many super chats. Everybody's blowing their money left and right. Keep your money, guys. You got expensive iPhones to pay for. I keep seeing people in the chat saying, "I'm getting a 16 and a 16 Pro." Speaking of, I should check. How are the ship times doing? 16 Pro Max. Let's see how the one I just pre-ordered looks. Um, oh, that color. Which color is this? Natural titanium is still available for pickup at launch, but not for delivery. Desert titanium not available for pickup, and it's delayed until October if you ship. Same thing with white titanium. This makes me so glad I got up early. I'm like, wow, I really got the one that sold out pretty quick. Uh, the This Guy experience is working right now. May pretty older during breakup or just pick up my phones for my wife and I on drop day, trying to get the 512 gig Pro Max, but I wish I could get the 1 terabyte Pro Max. Color, I don't really care. Wow, a terabyte of storage. I'm curious how you justify that. Um, do a poll on what people are getting between the 16, 16 Pro, 16 Pro Max. I guess I haven't looked at the poll. It takes a while because I'm managing the chat on my Tesla's display, not on my MacBook display, because I'm trying to preserve bandwidth. But uh, interesting. Not as many people voting for Desert Titanium as I thought. Of course, in dead last is white, the color I pre-ordered. No one likes. 38% voted Desert Titanium. 28% voted black. That's actually more than usual, I think, for the black option. And natural titanium still has 21%. So a lot of people are still getting natural, even though it's not the latest color anymore. Okay, so we'll end that poll. We got about 1,500 votes on that one. We'll start a new poll. What are you pre-ordering? Oh, this one. And on the Tesla display, I can't see what I'm typing because it's kind of this weird UI. It's not really meant for this application. Second option, oh, that's 19. 16 plus, add option, 16 Pro. I bet my prediction for the poll is that most people are getting the Pro Max today. And if you pre-ordered more than one, just vote for the one that is going to be your daily. Vote for the one you're going to main. Like, this is the phone I'm going to use most of the time. Okay, start poll. Here in the area of Houston, every iPhone in stock for both pickup and delivery for September 20th. Okay, well, that's good. In the 8 years since I bought my iPhone 7, the entry level iPhone in New Zealand has increased about 1.6 times despite inflation only increasing around 1.2 times. Do you feel the price increase is justified? Um, I'm biased probably, but yeah, I feel like iPhones are doing a lot, and we kind of live on these things, which is why I think so many people are willing to pay so much money for them. It's like for a person like me, like I use it for work. This is like a crucial piece of equipment for both my job on YouTube and my job at Tello. So it's kind of it adds a lot of value to our lives. You know, like Warren Buffett even made the case that he's like, I have a private jet, and I would give that up before I give up my iPhone. Like he uses his iPhone for so many things. It's like it's my camera, it's my communication device, it's my email, it's my social media, it's my news. It's like I do so much on this one little thing. So yeah, wanting it to have a better camera, better display, better battery life, and all these things is kind of understandable. And they have gotten quite good now where they've got big screens and small form factors and uh they're doing more and more for us. It's our wallets. So I understand why people are willing to pay quite a bit for them. I mean, relative to how much they benefit us, I think they are still kind of a bargain in some ways. I mean, obviously, whether or not you should be spending that kind of money is dependent on your financial situation. But take out the new iPhones, for example. Like, ignore the fact that the new iPhone 16s are probably going to cost you around $1,000 or more, depending on which one you pre-ordered. But at the end of the day, look at it this way: like, you can buy a really great phone, like for example, an iPhone 13, which has decent battery life, decent display, great cameras. My biggest complaint with the iPhone 13 isn't really that bad. It's just the fact that it has a Lightning port. My wife is still interested in upgrading because she's on her iPhone 10 and it's getting old and showing signs of age, and she's thinking of going used because she doesn't want to spend a lot of money. Um, and I was looking up on eBay yesterday how much you can get an iPhone 13 for, with an OLED 6.1-inch display, with a great camera system, with Face ID, um, decent battery life and MagSafe and wireless charging. It's water resistant. It can get wet. You can film things underwater with it and all that. Um, you can get all that now on eBay for like a little over $300. Definitely like sub $400. So like for 350 bucks, you can basically have this crazy little computer with you that does all these wonderful things. Um so that's pretty impressive that the technology has trickled down. So obviously, I don't think every person depend because I don't know everybody's financial situation, but I don't think everybody should be spending $1,000 on their iPhone every year. Definitely not when they're getting this good. It's like, do you need uh to have a 16 Pro versus a 13 Pro? Like, for a lot of people, a 13 Pro is still perfectly capable and gets the job done. Even a 13 mini, like my good friend Ross, who we had on the channel, he was using an iPhone 7 up until earlier this year, and he was like, it's getting old and I need to contact people for work, and I need to make sure that I can communicate with my wife and with my coworkers. So the iPhone 7 wasn't reliable enough anymore, so I'm upgrading. He got a 13 mini for like 300 bucks, and he loves it and he's super happy with it, and he said that, the camera's much better, and the display is still, you know, pretty big relative to how small the phone is. Um so the fact that, yeah, you can get used iPhones now or refurbished iPhones for very, very cheap, um that's that's impressive. Do you need a $30,000 Tesla, Drew? Of course not. It's absolutely a want. But I I knew that if I bought another, I've done the cheap gas car thing. I you know Before the Tesla, I owned a $3,500 Hyundai Sonata. I actually still do own that car, and that means I'm paying well over $200 to $300 a month for gas. Where I live, gas is well over $4 a gallon. Sometimes, depending on where I'm road tripping to, if I go to the Bay Area, if I'm going to LA, it'll be over $5 a gallon. So I'm paying thousands of dollars a year for gasoline if I buy a cheap used gas car. And I need to road trip with my vehicle. I road trip to visit my family multiple times a year, at least twice, to go up north, to the Idaho area. And then I've got family down in San Diego as well that we try to go down and see at least once a year, sometimes more. And now with my job, I'm going down to Tello several times a month, probably going down today actually. And the gas prices are super expensive there, and I drive a lot. I put over 50 I'm at 56,000 miles on my car in 2 years. So I save a ton of money by not paying for gas, and I've also had horrible experiences with gas cars in the past where I've had transmission failure, I've had head gaskets go out, and it costs thousands of dollars to replace the engine. So I'm not saying that I will eventually break even, because yes, the Tesla is substantially more expensive than the cheap gas cars I could buy, but I would rather pay a premium to not have to make those decisions and be stranded. Like with my gas car, I had issues with the 12-volt battery in the starter in the middle of a road trip. So if that would have happened on some of my more recent road trips where, oh, holy crap, I'm stuck in like Oregon or I'm stuck in New Mexico and now the car won't start, um, now it's a much more expensive problem because I have to get it fixed out there, or I'm going to miss work, or I'm going to have to get a hotel room because I can't get to my destination. Um, how much is gas in California right now? Well, it varies heavily depending on the area. The cheapest places are around $4 a gallon. Most expensive places are probably around 5.5 to $6 a gallon. But yeah, California gas is crazy. To be fair, electricity prices are also crazy, but they are still technically lower. Um, and no, I can't get a Suzuki. I don't know if you're referring to a motorcycle, but um, Mo Q says, keeping my 15 Pro Max, I see no reason to get the 16 Pro Max. I agree. I think if it weren't for the studio grade microphones, for me, this would be a hard pass. Nothing about the Apple Intelligence features, or even really any of the camera control features I've seen, have made me think like, oh, I need that. The only feature that I've seen that makes me go, okay, you know what, I might need that, is the fact that the studio microphones have been improved on the iPhone. Um, well, it didn't have studio grade microphones. Now it does. That gets me pumped because I record a lot off my phone, so I really want to see how they perform. But I'm not guaranteed keeping it. Um, yeah, if you tow a lot, you can't justify an electric car. I understand that. Towing with EVs is a mess right now. It's not worth it. I would not recommend an EV if you're towing a lot, personally. Um, at least not right now. We need to wait till the charging networks get better and the vehicles get better at higher battery pack capacities and faster charging speeds. I think EVs will get there, but they're not ready yet. Um, got all pre-orders for iPhone, Apple Watch, and AirPods. Congrats! But just as a reminder, the Apple Watch and AirPods you could pre-order back on Monday. The only thing that is new for pre-ordering today is the iPhones. That's the only thing. Um, Brittany says, I bought a 2024 Tesla all-wheel drive Model Y, and I pre-ordered the 16 Pro Max natural titanium, picking up at Tacoma, Washington on Saturday. Good morning to all my Tesla and Apple family. Wow, so much similarities and overlap there. Um, People are saying, what did he say? 61% for Pro Max? 61% what? Oh, you're looking at the poll. Yeah, everybody's getting the Pro Max. Geez, out of like 600 votes, it looks like only 2% of people are pre-ordering the 16 Plus. That's fascinating. Nobody wants the 16 Plus. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better. What are your thoughts on the rumors that the M4 MacBooks will start with 16 gigs of RAM? It's fine. It's probably about time to up it. I think a lot of people got uppity about the entry level MacBook Pro having 8 gigs of RAM, but I'm like, that thing is replacing that Touch Bar MacBook Pro. It's only Pro by name. It's not really meant to be a Pro laptop. It's the Pro laptop for people who aren't actually pros, but think they are. And that doesn't bother me that much because I know that the MacBook Pro name carries a certain level of familiarity and nostalgia. So even though people are like, if it's a pro laptop, it should have. It's like it's not a pro laptop. They have pro in the name purely for marketing sake, not because it's really meant for pros. But I could see people who just use it for very basic things like text editing and media consumption, and they just happen to buy the pro because they want the better display or the better speakers over the air. It's not because they need a powerful workhorse. If they need a powerful computer, then yeah, they'll spend more money on a more memory, more ports, more storage, and all that. They'll up it. I know I miss the mini iPhones too. Um, that would be my first MacBook. Will be the M4. Well, that's probably a good choice. Um, Let's see. Go Hogs for Life says, been a new Model Y user here. Been a great few months with it. Probably going to keep the 15 Pro Max for another year unless I can get it sold for close to the price of the 16 Pro Max. Yeah, you might get relatively close. I'd be surprised if you get like 90% of what a 16 Pro Max costs. But if it's in good condition and you sell it in the right places, you might get 75, 80% of the value back. which would be impressive. iPhones tend to hold their resale value fairly well. Should trade-in value be a factor for considering an upgrade and assuming one's finances would allow for an upgrade? I mean, it should, but again, I would avoid trade-in value if at all possible because trade-ins are always going to be worth less than selling the phone. Because when you're selling the phone, you are getting money to someone who plans on using it. So they're the final buyer. Trade in value means that the company has to take your phone and then turn it around, and they has to spend money refurbishing it and shipping it, and they're going to try to flip it and make a profit for it. So obviously if they're trying to flip it, they're not going to give you a great deal on your trade in. So trade-in value, in my opinion, should just be looked at as the floor. As in, like, don't sell it for less than that, obviously. If there's issues with it or you're having a hard time selling it, definitely if someone won't offer you more than whatever the trade-in value is, just trade it in. That's simpler and that's easier. But most of the time, you'll be pretty easily able to sell it for more than what the trade-in value is. So I wouldn't factor in trade-in value as much as I would resale value. Like try to sell it. That's a better financially speaking. But some people just don't like fussing around with listing it and meeting up with buyers. That can be annoying and time consuming. So some people just like trade in for the convenience. And they're willing to be like, yeah, I'm not really getting as much money back as I could, but I don't have the time to try to sell it. So I'm just going to trade it in so that I get some money back. But some people acknowledge, like, yeah, it's not going to be a great trade in value. But Verizon had an insanely good trade in deal last year where if you had a non pro iPhone newer than the 11, they would give you $800 for it. Again, like we talked about, yeah, those big carriers will try to convince you to stay with them because of those trade in deals. But again, you're paying for a very expensive plan. So, like Stetson said, most of the time you have to be on their priciest plans in order to get those great trade-in deals. So you're like, wow, I saved $300 on my upgrade through Verizon, but then you pay $500 more a year to be on Verizon than Visible or US Cellular or Republic Wireless or Mint Mobile or someone else. You're not really saving money. It sounds like you're saving money just on the smartphone exchange, but uh, the the price of being on some of those big carriers, you're paying for it through other means. They're not losing money on you. I guarantee you that. These are very big, very profitable companies. So if you see them offering trade-in deals that are really tempting, really convincing, it means they're getting their money through other means. So they're trying to convince you to stick around. Will eBay be a good place to resell my 15 Pro Max? Of course, depends on condition and battery health. It could. I've sold some stuff on eBay and had it go fairly smoothly. Yeah. The only issue I would have is eBay takes a fee. There's like a 15% fee, which is why I tend to try to sell locally. I try to sell just to people that I know about in my personal life. That's even better. But if I can't find someone in my personal life that's in the market, then I will just put it on Marketplace and see if there's anybody in the area that I'm in that wants to buy it and meet up, because then we don't have to pay for shipping, which simplifies things, and it's right then and there. Usually they can just pay in cash. That simplifies things too. You get a lot less scammers that way that try to back charge it or something or report an issue. No, instead you just meet up. Here's the phone. Look at it. Yep, looks good. Here's the money. Boom, you're done. You go there. You separate ways. They don't know where you live. You don't know where they live. It just feels cleaner that way. But the downside is, yeah, you do have to meet up with strangers in public places, which can get weird. Sorry for the pixels. I know T-Mobile's wigging out. Um, Jet Black still in the flesh. Maybe I should check out the Jet Black Apple Watch when I go to the Apple Store. eBay will also put a bunch of arbitrary restrictions on you if you're not a big seller. Oh, really? I haven't noticed that. I'm not a big seller, but I have sold a lot of stuff on eBay. I ordered the white titanium, which I'm now grateful I got up so early because the exact model I pre-ordered got pushed back really fast. They make the money up with the 3-year contract when you pay $90 a month, and they also recoup some of the money by selling your old phone. Yeah, I mean, I don't care what they do with the old phone, but I'm just saying, as from the consumer's end, a carrier may give you a crazy trade-in deal, but that's usually a sign that they're getting their money back through other means. Um, let's see. Is this a Minecraft stream? Yeah, occasionally when the bitrate drips, drips. I don't know what I'm saying. It's super early. I'm sorry if I'm not making sense. First year having an Apple business representative do my pre-order for me. So nice not to have to worry about getting it on time. What? How did you do that, Adam? That sounds cool. I ordered a whitanium 15, not sorry, 16 Pro Max. So we'll see how that does. Did some poking around and trading in an iPhone 11 for the iPhone 16 Pro brought the price to $9 more than an Amazon renewed 15 Pro, which I thought was interesting. Okay, yeah, I mean, I suppose so, but $9 more at that point, yeah, just get a 15 Pro and then sell the iPhone 11. That'd be the cheapest way to get a newish iPhone with USB-C and 120 hertz and all that. So grateful I pre-ordered the Desert Titanium Pro Max. Just checked back and every model is sold out. Yeah, I haven't checked for a while. Let's check again. Let's check the pros. See how the ship times are slipping. How much does eBay charge? Well, they don't really charge anything. It's just when you sell it, they're like, okay, it's sold for this amount, and then they send you less. They take the fee. Um, but I think their fee is something like 15%. So 15% of the sale goes to eBay. It'll probably sell faster, and you might be able to argue that on eBay, because you have wider reach, you could probably ask for more. Whereas if you're selling locally in your community, if no one's in the market, then you might have to lower your price. Um, Desert Titanium, 128 gig. Not the upgrade program, sorry. Uh, any carrier. Still available at launch for pickup and delivery for the Desert Titanium 16 Pro. So that one doesn't seem to be as high in demand as the Pro Max from what I'm seeing. Um, seems like everybody's just blowing all their money on the Desert Titanium. Let's check the Pro Max again. Gotta enter this whole thing. Yeah, still October 2nd on this one for 256 gig. 512 gig is also pushed out to October 2nd, but for pickup, it's still at launch. 1 terabyte is unavailable for pickup at launch, but you can ship it on October 2nd. All OS says, I took all the pre orders. He stole them. Am I keeping my 15 Pro? I don't know. It depends. We gotta review it first. I don't make decisions before I get the products. I gotta see how good the mics are. Always preferred white/silver colors. Would Apple prefer purple though if I had a 14 Pro? Uh, would prefer purple though. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the purple 14 Pro is pretty sweet. A friend of mine has one. I pre-ordered 16 Pro Desert Titanium, upgrading from my 7 Plus Jet Black. What are my opinions? Yeah, I think you'll like it. That's quite an upgrade. I'm proud of you for holding on to your 7 Plus as long as you did. I Not a lot of iPhone 7s going around, but I think the 16 Pro will last you a long time. So, people are still asking me what I pre-ordered, which I've already answered like 5 times. So I'm sorry if I'm ignoring your message. But for the last time, I ordered a 16 Pro Max, 256 gig, Whitanium. If you keep the 16, give your wife the 15. I really want to. I think that would be a great setup. Is like that way my wife has USB-C and I have USB-C. But I got to tell you, my wife does not care or does not want the latest and greatest stuff. I have tried. I have time and time again tried to convince her, honey, at least get an iPhone 15 or can we get you something nice? She's like, no, that's too expensive. I'd rather have an iPhone 13 or an iPhone 12. She was like, my budget is $300. I don't want to spend more than $300. And I'm like, oh, but honey, we could just spend a little bit more and get you a nicer phone, get you Type C. That way we have the same connector. She doesn't care. She's like, I don't care. I charge wirelessly. Who cares about Type C? And I'm just like, me. So, as much as I want her to have my 15 Pro, she would, even if I end up keeping the 16, she would most likely rather, I know her pretty well, she would most likely rather sell this for however much it's worth, whatever I get, 700, 800, 700, 800 bucks, and then buy a $300 iPhone 12 or 13. No, it would, if I gave it to her, it would not be $0 because we have shared finances. I don't know if y'all are married, but when you have joint finances, it's like my money is her money is my money. So it's like if I went out and bought her a 16 Pro Max and gave it to her, it'd be the equivalent of just pulling money out of her bank account and saying, "Look, honey, I surprised you." No, no, no. I don't sell things to my wife because we have the same exact bank accounts. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know if y'all are married, but no, doesn't work like that. At least in our marriage, all our money is shared. Anyway, thank you for the super chat. Rich Hardesty says, "Curious what MagSafe portable charger you have." Um, Portable charger. It's from Taurus. I just did a video on it. My video from yesterday. Not sponsored. No affiliate links. They wanted to turn it into some sponsorship thing, and I said no. I was like, I don't do sponsorships on the channel. I just think it muddies the recommendation. I don't think people would trust me as much if I recommended it and you knew that I was getting paid to recommend it. I'm not getting paid by them. I genuinely wanted a MagSafe battery pack because Apple used to make them, but they were expensive and they didn't add that much battery life. Um, so obviously they're not paying me, but this is what I'm using, and it works pretty great. So 10,000 milliamp hours on this one, which is quite a brick. But you can get a slightly cheaper one. This one's about $50 on Amazon, and it doubles the life or triples the life of my iPhone battery. And this one's a bit slimmer. It's a bit easier on the phone. It doesn't get as heavy or as bulky. This one's 5,000 milliamp hours, which I have tested. It can fully charge my 15 Pro from dead. Um, and then it's about done because obviously there's some heat related losses. But yeah, the slim nature of it is really nice, but it's only $40. $40 and it's USB-C. So it was it was not a sponsorship. I tried to make that very clear in the video. I think a lot of people got confused. They were like, "I thought you don't do sponsorships." I'm like, "They're not paying me." I told everybody like I don't do sponsorships. Uh I think I just have a joint account for household bills and stuff. Yeah, that's not how we do it, but Calvin Patel says, "I'm on the iPhone 12 mini. My carrier is T-Mobile. Should I trade it in through Apple or go to T-Mobile and upgrade?" I'd pretty much always avoid trading in through Apple because it's a pretty bad deal, especially if you're on the 12 mini. I don't know what the trade-in value for the 12 mini is, but it's probably pretty bad. Um, so who pays for dinner? We pay for dinner. There's one account, so both people are paying. Um, Thank you for the super chat, though, Calvin. Go to T-Mobile. I don't know if I would do either of those options. I would probably buy it unlocked. I don't like going through carriers. I would consider switching to Mint Mobile, saving yourself some money, and then buying a probably if you're on a 12 mini, you could get a refurbished iPhone 15 and it would still be a pretty substantial upgrade and it would cost substantially less. You could get one for $600, sell your 12 mini on a third party site or locally, and you're looking at $300 to get better camera, better battery life, bigger screen, USB-C, um, softer edges. Uh, or if you like the size of the 12 mini, just get a 13 mini, honestly. That would be my recommendation. But yeah, trade-in deals are always terrible, especially through Apple. Uh Lochin does, I don't see your whole name, but Lochin says, "Love your content. By the way, just wondering, could I be a stream moderator?" You could. That's a Tailosive Tech Max perk. Sorry. If I modded everybody that's super chatted, we'd have a lot of mods. But so I had to kind of raise the bar to entry on that one because a lot of people kept asking. I appreciate the super chat, but I did put a price on it because so many people were asking to be moderators, so I had to put just a straight line on it. Do the sponsorship, but they have to agree your review will be your opinion, not a script, not what they want you to say. Uh I could, but again, I don't really I don't need the money, and I still think it would affect the recommendation. I think it's just a very different dynamic if you know that the person making the video is getting paid to say these things. I think it's very different when it's just like the person making the video wanted this item. That's the reason I agreed to it, by the way. There are companies constantly trying to sponsor my videos and send me accessories to talk about in review. And I say no because I'm like, I don't want to talk about those products. Those products aren't interesting to me. So the only reason I wanted to talk about these was because these were the products that I was interested in getting myself anyway, because I like the concept of having a battery module that is cross compatible. So it's not like a phone case where it's just only works with one phone. I wanted something that I knew would work with multiple different kinds of phones. So hopefully, when my wife upgrades in the not too distant future, she'll have MagSafe, and then she can use this. If her battery gets low, she can just slap this on the back and keep charging it. And if I upgrade my iPhone, or if I don't upgrade my iPhone, or if I switch to a Pixel with Qi in the future, I can just swap between these battery modules, and I can leave them in the car and keep them charged up and um, topped off. So I like the idea of the battery pack. So I was looking at buying them anyway. And then I check my inbox because I get emails every day from all these different companies trying to send me stuff. And I see this is one that was offered that someone wanted me to check out. And this one's affordable. It has high reviews because this was also not the only battery modules that were offered to be sent to me, but I specifically chose them because they were affordable and they had good reviews. So I didn't just say yes to the first company that offered me these things. Um, so I think that if the reviewer is just talking about them because I got to make money, I got to pay my bills, then that kind of taints the recommendation in my opinion. It's kind of like, is he really interested in these accessories? Does he really want to use them, or is he just talking about them because he wants to get a paycheck? Um, I wanted it to be clear from the beginning. I'm not talking about these because I wanted to get paid. I'm talking about them because I think they're genuinely a good idea. Apple doesn't make them, and I'm personally using them. Leonardo says, "Are you going to be at the Aptera San Francisco event this weekend?" Yes. So if you're checking out the Aptera on Saturday, you will see me there. Mint Mobile had a Pixel 9 for $400. Such a deal. Okay, I will confess, even though they're a budget carrier and they have very, very cheap phone service, that was impressive. It was like $400, I think, for a Pixel 9 and 6 months of Mint Mobile. It was included. The cell phone coverage was included in that $400, and I was just like, dang, that is actually impressive. I know I said carrier deals are usually scams, but that one's pretty hard to top. Um, I ordered the 256 gig 16 Pro Max Whitanium just to answer. Why are only a few people mods? Because if you get too many mods, then they can start getting too power hungry and they start banning people. And so I like to kind of remember the mods by name a little bit more, because I'm like, if someone gets banned unrightfully, I want to see who did it and know who they are. If there's more moderators than I recognize, then I'm not sure who to unmod if they abuse their power, which sadly I have had happen in the past where the moderators get too power hungry. Um, Dex just got announced for Pixel. What? I got to check that out. Has Mint Mobile been tainted by the T-Mobile buyout? Not yet. I'm kind of waiting to see if they change it or do something bad that I don't like. But so far, Mint Mobile is still a great deal, and they haven't really. Someone needs to mod all the mods. Yeah, that's right. Ben Close says, I don't remember the last time I deleted a comment, although I can't always. That's good. Well, the thing is, there's a lot of different moderators, but they're not all available at the same time, which is why you need to have a decent number of mods, because sometimes you stream at different times in the day or night, and they're not always available. So, hey, there's cousin Matt. He says, I will ban you for asking about mods. Dang, this is early for cousin Matt. Are you getting ready for work or something? Yeah, T-Mobile bought out Mint Mobile, for those who don't know, but so far they haven't changed. Thoughts on Apple not advertising 45 watts? I'm very confused. I'm debating if, because the source for that is a little questionable. It's just some kind of like Chinese database that says, "Oh, apparently the iPhone 16s support up to 45 watts." And I'm like, "Okay, maybe physically they do, but does that mean the software actually lets them accept 45 watts? Maybe the port can technically handle it, but maybe they're waiting on certain features to unlock or something." Cousin Matt says, unfortunately. Will I ever use a screen protector in case on your phone? No, never. No, I talked about why I'm using a case. I'm actually using the kickstand right now because I'm not a big case guy, but after I had a scary drop on my last trip, I decided that it's probably a good idea, at least when I'm moving around and I'm outside the house, I should probably have a case. But I've also, on the side quest, really enjoyed having a kickstand. This has been extremely helpful. It gets rid of the camera wobble for one, but it also lets Face ID work. And I just have it sit on my desk like this, and it's at the optimum angle, and I use it all the time. And even if I'm in the kitchen, I'm watching something, I can rotate it. Uh, Man, why do I say no to sponsorships? I'm really just leaving a bunch of free money on the table. Me and my pesky morals. And I'm like, yeah, but then people won't trust me. It's like, who cares? People don't trust you anyway, Drew. I really should just take the money. I know. I'm so stupid. I don't get it. People are broke. Save your money. No need to upgrade. I agree. I think the vast majority of people should. There's nothing really I've seen on the iPhone 16 lineup that for most people is like a must have. Only reason I'm tempted is the new microphones, but outside of that, no. 15 Pro is just fine. Um, Randy got the white titanium Pro 128 gig, right? From the podcast. I don't know if he's tweeted. I haven't been on Twitter. Let me see if he tweeted anything. Um, Not sure which thing he would tweet from. Maybe he's not up yet. It's pretty early. He probably would have tuned into the live stream by this point. No, I haven't seen him tweet, so I don't know if he woke up. I hope that the one he wants is in stock. Um, yeah, 1,200 buckaroos. Honestly, for how much we use our phones, it's kind of impressive. Hey, Model Y Mike is in the chat though. Is he pre-ordering anything? I don't think he is. Um, Matt says, "Take the money. That's how people YouTubers make money. I would ignore ads for you." Aw, thanks, cousin Matt. You outside an Apple store already? Yeah, I'm parked right outside Apple Park. I'm about to run in and get my phone. T-Mobile is just off its rocker right now. You think they'd have a failsafe? This is ridiculous. Is that true? I mean, I don't have. I guess I do have a T-Mobile account. Let me go to T-Mobile's website. People are saying T-Mobile's website is down. It's working for me. Maybe the pre-order site is down. Yeah, I see it. Are you sure your internet is not down? Mike says I pre-ordered extra sleep this morning. That's good. That makes sense. When do iPhones start shipping for launch day? Usually a couple of days before, so probably like this upcoming Wednesday. Um, they keep saying the whole website is down. Definitely not for me. Let's see. I'll pre-order through T-Mobile right now. Go 5G. Oh god. Oh, there you go. If I click the pre-order button, it says we're currently experiencing high demand. Well, there you go. That's what you get for going through the carrier deal. Um, this is my first year of getting the regular Pro. Haven't gone this small since the 10. I hope you like it. I hope you save yourself some money that way and that it feels more comfortable now. That would be nice. How are the wildfires in California? Yeah, there was a pretty bad one yesterday, but they got it under control. It's kind of just typical now. I'm used to it. So wildfires don't even make me nervous anymore. I just kind of come to expect them at this point. Um, let's T-Mobile is dead in the UK, as in for like 12 years. That's funny. The call centers can't do anything either. I know. That's what I'm telling you. Like, don't don't trust the carriers. I buy my iPhones from the manufacturer, from well, not the manufacturer, that'd be Foxconn, but from the source. I pre-order through the Apple Store app and I had it pre-ordered in 2 minutes. They saved my data. It went live at 5 a.m. I hit place order and boom. I'm at first in line. I'm in the first check-in window. How do you feel about eSIM by now? I still don't love it. I'd love it more if they did something with that extra space. Cousin Matt says, "Where do I pre-order 12 Pro Max?" You don't even I gotta pre-order it. It's been out for a while now. I know you're kidding. But they still overseas, I don't know if you guys heard this, but outside of the US, you can still get iPhones with the iPhone 16s you can get with the physical SIM tray. So that means the US model just has an empty nothing. There's just nothing with that additional space, which makes me feel like it's kind of wasted. I still don't mind the old fashioned way of switching around a physical SIM. I always thought that was fine. I didn't think that needed to be replaced. And but I've gotten pretty good at managing eSIMs now. I'm also a bit more tolerant of it because I was a little mad because I love Mint Mobile and I love how cheap the service is, and I've been on them for a while, so I don't really want to switch unless they do something super stupid. But um, something that annoyed me about the eSIM thing is that Mint Mobile only lets you have 2 free eSIMs a year. And I was like, well, that's kind of annoying. Before, I could have Mint Mobile and I could switch my SIM around as much as I wanted as I reviewed different phones. But now that the iPhone is going eSIM, it was going to start costing me money just to plant eSIMs in different phones to review. But since then, they've changed that. I think they heard my complaints. So shout out to Mint Mobile for actually acting on that. But now they give you, I think, 5 free eSIMs a year, which is pretty good. So I can review a couple different phones without having to fuss around with a physical SIM. I don't know why they charge for that. I'm pretty sure there's some kind of surcharge. I don't think they're charging for that for no reason. There's something with a database with phone numbers and eSIMs that has to be processed, and the big carriers obviously that are charging you $90 a month, they'll just cover all the eSIM costs because they're getting so much money anyway. But because Mint Mobile is a budget carrier, they're looking at ways to cut costs. Um, SIM trays ought to be mandated by law. Talk to the EU; they can probably make it happen. Yora says, I just got a 15 Pro 128 gig for $770 last week. Been loving it. That's a great deal. Holy crap. Under $800. He's paying less than what a bunch of people are paying for the iPhone 16, and he's getting a Pro iPhone, 120 hertz and all. That's awesome. Alex says, best iPhone pre-order process I've been through in all the years of ordering through AT&T. Well, that's good. eSIMs are better security, especially when someone steals your phone. I suppose so. I've never had that happen yet. Uh, it hasn't come up. No one has stolen my phone and taken the eSIM out of it, but I suppose it's more secure. Pixel 9 Pro XL is $600 through my carrier, Spectrum, so phone only locked for 60 days. No contract. Well, no contracts after the 60 days, but yeah. So you're telling me I got up this early to pre-order a single eSIM for nothing? Just an eSIM pre-order? Uh, Nasty pre-ordering through carriers. I've never had a bad experience through the Apple Store app. Um, I've had it take longer to go live than usual, but every single year that I've used the app, I've been able to get one on launch day. But when I ordered through Verizon, oh, I did not get it on launch day, and it was a big headache. In roughly an hour, when my bank opens, I have to call them as I got an email from Apple saying there was an issue with the payment, even though I have funds. Oh boy. That's not fun. Now I got to check my email because I'm paranoid they're going to tell me something's wrong. But it's literally the Apple Card. I couldn't have done a more first party experience. Cousin Matt asked, do I usually get Apple Care? I've never once bought Apple Care in my life. Sometimes I think it's funny. Apple Care is only worth it if the phone breaks. Some people, I think, get a little bit confused with the billing process because they're like, wow, I replaced my whole phone, or I replaced the back glass or the front glass for free because I bought Apple Care. And I'm like, that wasn't free though, because Apple Care isn't free. So some people will spend $200 on Apple Care and then say, I got a whole glass replacement for free. And I'm like, no, you paid $200 for that glass replacement. It would have been really a mess if you spent the $200 and then didn't break your phone. Then you would have spent $200 on nothing, but other than insurance and protection. But I just say take good care of your tech. If you're clumsy and you drop your phone, uh, it happens. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It happens to everybody. Just get a good case. You don't have to buy Apple's. In my opinion, Apple's cases suck. I used to buy silicone cases in the past because I was an Apple sheep and I was just like, oh, I'm here at the store, might as well buy one. And I spent $50 on all these cases that fell apart within a year. Those silicone cases age horribly. I know because my wife still has some old ones that I hadn't gotten rid of yet, and they just fall apart super easily. Um, there's third-party cases that are great. I'm using a Taurus one because I like having the kickstand, but I'm not saying you have to buy this one because, again, they're not a sponsor. I have no contract with them. I told them from the beginning I don't do contracts with companies, and uh, this is cheaper than Apple's. Fine Woven was discontinued, thank God. Apple Care is a must when you have teens. I wouldn't give teens expensive iPhones personally. I would just say you're getting cheap used old phones. Teens are already addicted to screens enough as is. You're getting a really old iPhone with a really crappy battery life so that it doesn't last all day. It's like you can use that for texting and communication. If TikTok kills your phone, then good, you don't get a phone. Um, that's how I my stance is on it. I'm like you take good care of your phone, and if you break it, then I mean, in my family, I had to pay for my tech regardless. So I pay for it whether or not I use it, whether or not I break it, is what I meant to say, not use it. Obviously, obviously I use the tech, but yeah, when I had an iPod Touch in middle school and I broke it. My parents were like, "Okay, then you're gonna fix it." So I paid the money to replace the screen. That was one of the few times I replaced my own. I haven't broken an iPhone display. I have broken iPod Touch display when I was a little kid, and then I made a pact with myself that this was a very annoying and frustrating process replacing the screen, and I'm never gonna break a screen again. Can you check if the T-Mobile pre-order page is down for you? Uh, wow. I opened it and it said, "To keep your place, please don't leave or refresh this page. We appreciate your patience." I'ma refresh it. Suck it, T-Mobile. Well, nothing changed. Okay, so here's the T-Mobile site. I'm gonna hit pre-order. Good things come to those who wait. Yeah, T-Mobile is just like down. Um, 16 Pro Max in natural is available in my locations. Rest are sold out. Wow. Um, what do you think about the upgrade program? Uh, I guess for some people, if you've got a lot of money, makes sense. But I don't really like the idea that you're subscribed and locked in to getting the latest iPhone every year because you're probably going to do upgrades that are completely unnecessary. I don't think you should upgrade your iPhone if you don't need to. And the upgrade program kind of like motivates you and convinces you that I don't care how small the changes are with the new iPhone, I'm upgrading regardless. But I guess some people who use their phone a lot and are like, I don't care how small the upgrades are, I just want a new iPhone every year. What was my first phone, Drew? The iPhone 5. That was my first phone, iPhone, smartphone, period. I never had a flip phone. I never had a dumb phone before that one. iPhone 5 was my very first phone. Um, it's been an hour and 20 minutes, and shipments are already slipping into October. Not only that, Silver Shot Zero, they were slipping 15 minutes in, especially for the Pro Max. Do you run a secondary phone? Not really. I technically have a Doogie Android, but I don't use it a ton. Um, it's an interesting phone, though. It's a giant brick of a battery. Jacob says, I pre ordered the 16 Pro, but it's definitely waiting a couple years unless there's huge upgrades. Yeah. I never owned it. I mean, I never personally owned an iPhone 4 and like used it. I mean, people have given me their old iPhone 4s. So I have like three iPhone 4s in storage just as like collector items. But um, yeah, it was like 10 minutes in and there were already some Pro Maxes that were slipping ship dates. Um, Mine was a little green iPhone 5C. Yeah, I remember people having those. Um, you have a 15 Pro Max and a 13 mini. I've tried to have two phones in the past, and usually what happens is one of them just never gets used. I take one everywhere, and then I leave one behind. Um, Most people complain about battery health when you can just get a new battery for less than $100. Not even that. You can even just get an external MagSafe battery pack like this one for $40. Saves you the trip to the Apple store because you can just buy this on Amazon and it just comes right to your house and you slap it on the back and boom, double the battery life. I guess some people don't want to fuss around with a second battery because you do have to charge it. Um, but still, just treat it like attach it to your phone and just leave it there and then plug in the battery case and then that'll charge the phone. And yeah, my first iPhone was the 3G. Then I've got every iPhone since then except for the iPhone 10. Really? Not the 10. Huh. I owned a brick phone decades ago. Remember the 30-minute talk time and 8-hour charge time? Yeah, it's come a long way. Bro, in love with battery packs. No, I'm in love with saving money, is what it is. And I think a lot of people will spend $1,000 on a new phone simply because their old phone doesn't have as great a battery life as they need. And they're like, oh, I need a new battery. And the truth is, you could spend $100 replacing the battery and improving the battery health, or most of the time, if your battery health is down to 80%, replacing the battery gets it back to 100%, but still, technically, you've only extended your battery life by 20% for $100. So if you save even more by buying a $40 battery pack, now you've doubled the length of your battery and you didn't have to buy a whole new phone. So I'm in favor of like people being aware of their options. It's okay to want a new phone because you want a better camera or you want a better display and yada yada. But my whole video yesterday was about don't upgrade simply just for better battery life, which I see come up a lot. People are like, I can't live with this phone, the battery isn't good enough. I'm like, there are ways. There are ways to improve the battery life without having to spend all that extra money. Um, Sorry for the bit rate. I know it's really bad. T-Mobile just needs a minute. Give it a second. It's early. It's waking up. Mike says my favorite iPhone was the 9. Oh, such a good year. Such a good generation. What's my favorite iPhone color of all time? Probably the product red iPhone 13. I still have seen those in the wild and I'm like, man, what a great phone. If it weren't for Lightning, I would really, really want a USB-C iPhone 13 mini with in red. That would be like kind of my dream iPhone right there. But sadly, it has Lightning, and I can't live with Lightning anymore. Um, what plug do I use to charge my iPhone? 20 watts or 30 watts? Right now I'm actually just have a Type C cable coming out of my iMac Pro, and I just plug my phone into that, which I believe is 15 watts. I just bought my brother a red iPhone 13 for his birthday. Good choice. Such a great color. It's just the right shade of red. I love aluminum. Um, I never wanted stainless steel on my chassis. I never wanted titanium. It's just expensive and it doesn't dissipate heat as well. Um, so I wish, I like having the Pro phones because of their high refresh rate or the better cameras and what have you, but I really prefer the metal of the cheaper iPhones. The aluminum looks so much better. Um, 87% for Pro and Pro Max. Yeah, that makes sense. The cheaper iPhones are definitely meant for the kind of person that wouldn't pre-order an iPhone, especially at 5 a.m. That's for sure. Are skits dead? No, they're not dead. I'm taking a break. A lot of people hate the skits and a lot of people like them, so I'm just going back and forth a little bit. Give the people who don't like the skits a chance to catch up on the content, trying to please as many people as I can. Also, I've been very crunched for time lately. Um, so when I don't have to do the skits, it makes content flow a little easier. Uh, if I have a good idea for a skit, I will make one. If you don't see a skit, it's probably because I was out of ideas that day or I was running low on time. Um, and this time of year, I know that there's also a lot of people that are watching buyer's guides and watching tech videos that are not normally watching because new iPhones just came out. So it's probably making a lot of people consider upgrading or should I upgrade or what should I consider? And because there's a lot of people who are on a time crunch who are now watching tech videos, I'm like, I should probably just get to the get to the point, get straight to the answers because we've got a lot more viewers than we normally have. When tech news gets dry and there's not a lot of people watching tech content, that's when I feel better about doing the skits because it makes a very boring news story a bit funnier and a bit more interesting. So I know a lot of you guys love the skits. I'm not going to stop doing the skits. I'm just taking a break in the meantime because it's a very busy time of year, and I'm trying to be as helpful as I can to all of the people watching tech videos that are not normally watching tech videos, and that's kind of this time of year. Um, what are my thoughts on Desert Titanium? I heard it was to appeal to the Middle Eastern. I didn't hear that. It's just gold. It's just gold, people. I don't care. I don't think it's a great color. It's just gold. We've seen gold iPhones before. This is just another gold iPhone. They're just not calling it that because it's the marketing team trying to be unique and different. I know. I always tell people just to skip the skits, but a lot of people still get mad even if they have to skip the skits. Um, Hardcore Weather says $100 if you don't do the skits again. Uh, you might get a lot of hate if you do that, but I'll put the price at $300. If you super chat $300, we'll stop the skits for I don't know a certain amount of time. I don't know if I'll say never, but $100 is too cheap. I like the skits too much. Bandage Gold. Don't be like Review Tech USA where he would constantly try to fake it and it gets overdone. Take a break if you feel like it. Yeah, I don't think there's always a good skit in mind. I try my best to think of funny skits, but sometimes it's like I don't know. The skits are a lot easier when there's not a lot of news going on. When things are dull and dry, it usually feels like there's more things to make fun of. Um, but when there's a lot of news going on, like right now with the new iPhones coming out, the new Apple Watches, and the new AirPods, I'm like, okay, there's enough to really talk about to fill up a full video. Whereas the skits in the past was like this tiny bit of leaks or rumors probably wouldn't be that interesting on its own of its own video. So you kind of need the skits to build up interest or to make things more interesting or exciting or the videos are more entertaining because if we just talked about the leak or the rumor it wouldn't be that interesting but dry news calls for dry humor exactly but now there's wet news. There's a lot of news going on so that's kind of my focus right now is like let's help people make purchasing decisions and let's inform people about the differences in AirPods features so that we have an informed buying public. Um, it's crack marketing team. Still waiting on a Red Pro model. Oh, that would be so sick. I would love a Red Pro. Did I do Mint before? What are your thoughts on T-Mobile? I want to switch carriers. I currently have AT&T. It depends where you live, whether or not the Mint Mobile coverage will work for you. But for me, it's been fantastic. I couldn't be happier with Mint Mobile. I get good speeds. It's very affordable. It's very cheap. And I love having one bill a year. I've had so much frustrations. I'm still a T-Mobile customer for home internet. I'm live streaming over T-Mobile home internet right now. But I've had so many issues with monthly billing. I would much rather pay for the year in advance because I just know that there, I'm done. That's it. uh you just pay once and then you forget about it and I like it that way because there's no overage fees so even if you run out of data the data just slows down it doesn't charge more and their account and billing management is so much more simple than T-Mobile's. I know because I still have to manage a T-Mobile account for home internet and they made it so complicated and so frustrated you have to have all these different apps for managing the home internet versus managing your account and they have all these different plans. I just love the simplicity. I love how basic Mint Mobile makes it, and it's intuitive and it's easy. And yeah, I've been happy with it. No, there's no Cox, there's no Frontier internet in my area. I've very limited internet options. I basically have Xfinity, which sucks, and I used them before, and I hate them with a passion. They charged us more. I hate the way they raised their prices over time, and their internet wasn't even that great. We had issues with it. It would slow down, or it wasn't as fast as they said it was going to be, and they treated us like crap. So I will always avoid Xfinity if it's at all possible. And then when Starlink became available, we switched to Starlink, which was cheaper than Xfinity at the time, um, but the connection wasn't as stable. And then once T-Mobile home internet became available in my area, I switched to that, which was substantially cheaper than Starlink, and I got better upload speeds. But there were still many times where I got faster download speeds on Starlink. So Starlink was obviously, in my opinion, a much better service if you just cared about download. But as a content creator like me, who does a lot of live streaming and uploading, T-Mobile was better for that, and not to mention half the price. Starlink has also gotten more expensive than when I had it. When I signed up for it, it was $100 a month, and Xfinity was charging me like $150 a month. It was ridiculous, and Xfinity fluctuates pricing based on region like crazy. So just because you might get cheap Xfinity where you live doesn't mean I have those same prices available, which I hate, by the way. I think that's stupid. And they would raise the prices just to see if they could, and then you'd have to call in and try to argue with them to get their prices down. Everybody I've talked to has had bad Xfinity stories. Um, T-Mobile home internet is a little rocky sometimes. Obviously, you see the pixelation with the stream, but um, I think that's not really an issue with T-Mobile. It's more of an issue with my distance from the router. But for the most part, it's been reliable. It's been relatively consistent, and it's the cheapest internet service I've ever had. It's only $50 a month, and it's been pretty good so far. I have AT&T home internet, and my maximum is 50 megabits upload. Yeah, I'll get around that with T-Mobile as well. Depends how close you are to the tower, but do I have a travel credit card? If so, which do you use and why? No, I probably should get one though with all the traveling I'm doing. I use an Apple card and a Citi card. I guess the Citi card, it's the Costco credit card because we go to Costco a lot. We get a lot of our groceries from there, and um, we like Costco. They're very customer focused, which we like. So when we first signed up, it was we were on the executive plan, which gave us 4% cash back on all Costco purchases, which was pretty cool. But what was cool about it was they said if your rewards don't exceed the price of the executive membership, then we'll give you your money back. We'll give you the money back as like the difference. Whatever rewards you paid minus whatever rewards you got minus whatever the executive membership cost. So we actually didn't hit the limit. So we signed up for the executive tier, but the rewards didn't pay for the extra $60 for the year that the executive membership cost. So they just gave us the money back. They said, here you go, have it back. So we were like, wow, that's nice. Yeah, 4% cash back on gas. Yeah. I don't pay for a lot of gas anymore, but you also get 4% back on EV charging. But thanks to the Tesla referral program, I actually don't pay for that either. But we like that we get 3% back on travel and restaurants because, when we're traveling, we go out to eat, and the Apple card was not giving us that much back for food purchases. Um, but yeah, we couldn't use the Apple card whenever we went to Costco because they don't accept MasterCard there for some reason. So we figured, yeah, it's probably good to have a credit card because we spend so much there, and we spend a lot on flights. But I really should find a better travel card. I know there's some good ones out there. Um, but I try to remind people like credit cards aren't the path to success. Dave Ramsey's interviewed a bunch of millionaires. None of them got to where they are because they applied for the right credit cards. It's a game of percentages. It's like, oh, 2% there, 1% there. Oh, this one's 5%. Ooh, that's not how you become rich. That's it's just you get some good deals here and there. Maybe you get some free stuff, but if you spend a lot of money for work or just in general, you have high expenses, you can rack up a lot more rewards. The reason we don't rack up a ton of rewards is because we live in a low cost of living area and our expenses are very, very low. So the more you spend, the more rewards you can get through those travel cards and stuff. But no, T-Mobile home internet is always 5G. T-Mobile home internet is not a fiber thing. Um, I know someone who has Apple Card but always uses the physical card, even though the digital one has more benefit. It kills me. It's like you're leaving free money on the table, man. I try to never use the physical card if I can help it. I pretty much always use the City card if I'm going to use a card physically. Um, because most of the time, if I'm using a card physically, it's at like a restaurant or something, which I would get 3% back on, whereas the Apple Card would only give 1%. But yeah, if I'm at a grocery store that's not Costco, or I'm buying something obviously that's not at Costco, then I'll typically go with the Apple Card because I like that it's cash back directly. My complaint with the Costco City Card is that it goes into a rewards account and then you have to wait until it cashes out so you don't get the money back as quickly. Um, Wi-Fi 7 supports some crazy stuff like 49 gigabits. Yeah, but what kind of internet provider is going to give you that? I'm in high school. Do you think the iPad Air M2 is good, especially with the education discount? I would go used, at least with iPads personally. I would not buy a brand new iPad Air if I were you. I are into. Depends what you're looking for. Do you want it to be big? Do you want a high refresh rate display? I would assume you do. I don't think 60 hertz looks good on a screen that big. Um, California is expensive in general, but I live in one of the cheapest places in California, um, which I think is kind of the best way to do it. You live nearby to the destination areas, and then you drive there in a nice car. I think it's much cheaper for me to live way out here because I don't have to pay expensive rent. I don't have a crazy expensive mortgage because my house is paid off. So using that money, we got a nicer car, which means we drive a bit more to get to the fun places. But there's fun places where I live too, but I won't get too far into that. Yes, I pre-ordered a 16 Pro Max Titanium 256 gig on launch day, so I'll pick it up. I'll probably be first in line. 120 hertz is nice to have for me, but not a necessity. Well, then what's stopping you from buying an older iPad Air? What is a necessity then? I'm just in favor of like, what do you absolutely need, and then find the most cost-effective way to get those things. What about the M2 iPad Air? You're in the desert in Cali? Yeah, it's a pretty woodsy area, but it likes to burn all the time. My most common place to use the physical card is at the store I work at, mainly because we don't accept tap to pay yet, but are seemingly getting close to it. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I gotta have a titanium phone to go with my titanium credit card, right? The Apple refurbished iPads seem good as new. They put a new battery and new outer shell. Absolutely. I would highly recommend buying Apple certified refurbished. Entitled high schoolers these days want everything new. They're just iPads haven't changed much. That's why I would hesitate to buy one brand new. It's like you could probably get by. I think the Apple Pencil Pro is nice, and the Apple Intelligence will be useful in school for grammar and math notes. Math notes is not an Apple Intelligence feature, just to be clear. You can use math notes on iPads that don't have the M chip. Isn't there an M1 iPad Air? Now I'm curious. Um, what about you think with the Apple Pencil Pro, you're actually going to do the barrel roll feature all the time? I don't know. Sounds like you're talking about Grammarly and math notes. I don't think those are the Apple Pencil Pro features with barrel roll. That's mostly helpful for artists and drawing. I think if you're doing math notes and writing out words and stuff, you'd be totally fine with an Apple Pencil too. And I wouldn't buy that new either. I'd buy that refurbished because it's been around for years. The Apple Pencil 2 has existed since 2018, so you could probably find one for half the price as an Apple Pencil Pro. See, I'm going to lean towards saving you money, if at all possible, just so that you're fully aware of what your options are. I think I can close this now. The sun's coming up. If you're convinced that I'm wrong, if you're convinced that no, Drew's wrong, I need the Apple Pencil Pro for this, or I need the M chip for this, then at least you know what you're buying. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to convince you that you're well aware that yeah, I'm getting the M2 iPad Air and I know exactly why. I'm trying to provide the why not go cheaper. That's my goal. Is to be like, do you really need all that? If the answer is yes, then okay, the decision's been made for you. But I'm trying to entertain why not go cheaper. I feel like more channels are more likely to go, why not go more expensive? You should get a pro. You should spend more money. I want to be the guy that tries to convince you, let's spend less money. Um, okay, if I go to products, should be. What happened to certified refurbished? They're making it harder to find now? Where'd it go? Oh, yeah, I go iPad first. That's what it is. I bet you. Could find an M1 iPad Air down here. Um, iPad minis are cool too. I would highly recommend an iPad mini. That'll save you some money. Um, iPad mini is the go. Wow, they don't have any iPad Air certified refurbished? That doesn't mean they don't exist though, by the way. Let me go on Amazon. Amazon also has this program called Renewed Premium where it's in really good condition. It's almost like brand new and there's a 1 year return policy. I think the main problem with people's spending habits is just simply by having a bad case of FOMO. Well, that's what Apple's good at. That's what their whole marketing team does is try to convince you that you're missing out, that you could get more, you could have more features, you could get better. I'm just talking for fun. I'm broke as heck. Well, even more the reason to recommend saving money if you're broke. iPad Air M1. What are those going for? They've been out for a while. Less than $400. Wow, look at that. Early 2022 iPad Air 5th gen. That'll get Apple Intelligence. Space gray renewed 395. Only downside is it's 64 gig. That might be annoying. Um, the M2 also I think is cheaper on Amazon. From Apple, by the way. This is brand new. This is not even renewed. If you buy it from Amazon, $680. So even if you end up getting an M2, I would not buy it from Apple. Um, might get the current Model Pro in like 4 years. Yeah, I think that's also a great way to do it. Is just like only buy used and hold on to them as long as you can. Um, M2 is like $500 for students. Well, that's good. Do that if you can. Can Amazon really be trusted with items like this? Heard they can be. I've done it many, many times. See, my whole thing is there's no risk if there's a good return policy. Because if you get something and it's not what you hoped for and it isn't what they said, you just return it. And they've been very good with me, at least about that. Of like, if there's a problem with the item, you just send it back and they cover the shipping and you get all your money back. But if it is what they said, and there's customer reviews too, so if it's a trusted buyer, it'll be highly reviewed. And I've ordered refurbished and renewed stuff from Amazon many, many times, and they're pretty trustworthy in my opinion. And if it's bad, just return it. Obviously, you're taking a lot more risk if you buy something with no return policy. That's when it's like, okay, there's no going back. Um, so if it's not what they said it is, or the condition is worse than they expected, yeah, to me, it's a trustworthy site. Yes, as long as you're buying from someone that supports returns. And Amazon Renewed is like an official program. That means that there's a 30, actually Amazon Renewed has a 90-day return window, so you could buy it, use it for 2 months, and then return it and get all your money back. um I know people that have done that. The Air is 549 with a $100 gift card for students. That's pretty good, I guess, for students. Is Apple Watch jet black color aluminum worth it? Wouldn't it get scratched crazy? I think so, unless they've come up with some kind of different polishing process. But yeah, the I had a jet black iPhone 7 back in the day, and it picked up a lot of scratches. So I'm not convinced it'll age all that great. But even the aluminum Apple Watches, they have the Ion X glass, not the sapphire glass, which always picks up a bunch of scratches. Um, so I would be hesitant to get any aluminum Apple Watch just because I've done it in the past because I love Product Red and I got the Product Red Series 6. But like just within a couple of months of getting that watch, it started getting scratches on the front because that Ion X glass is not very strong, which is why I usually recommend people buy refurbished steel Apple Watches because they come with the sapphire glass, and that glass is spooky good. I rubbed that thing against rocks and concrete, and it never showed a single scuff on the surface. It was incredible. So I would recommend going refurbished. You can find Apple Watches don't hold their resale value very great, which means they're not a great investment to buy new. but you will save a bunch of money if you buy them used and refurbished. You can find them for half price, sometimes less, third of the price, a quarter of the price, and not even have them be that old. Um, I think someone in the chat the other day said they just bought like a Apple Watch Series 7 for $200, less money than an SE, and it probably had the blood oxygen level sensor and has thinner bezels than the Series 10, same battery life. Um, Ben Close says I still have the Series 4 and have no problems with it. That's amazing. I'm impressed you can get the battery to last you all day. Jet Black 7 is not plastic but looks very plastic. Well, it is lightweight, but yeah, I want to look at it in person. It might be interesting to see how it looks. Um, I got a killer deal at Costco for Series 9 in July. They were competing with Amazon Prime Day. Yeah, wherever the good deals are, I encourage people to flock that way. Has the iPad Pro battery even improved? And they're still not claiming more hours like for iPhone and MacBook? Yeah, it's kind of like the Apple Watch. Since day one of the Apple Watch, they've said 18 hours of battery life. Apple Watch Ultra is the only Apple Watch to ever have more battery life than that. But still, even with the Series 10, they're saying 18 hours. Um, Drew, Amazon renewed premium 15 Pro 256 gig for $940. Why not just buy new? Yeah, that's not a great deal. I don't know if I would do that one. I would probably go regular Amazon renewed with the 15 Pro because I've seen those go into the like $800 zone, where it's about the same price as an iPhone 16. You can get a 15 Pro and then you get 120 hertz. You get the faster USB-C speed. You still get Apple Intelligence and you get the action button. The only downside, I guess, would be the overheating issues if you're concerned about thermals. But it depends who you talk to. Some people have had a lot of overheating issues. Some people haven't had any. It's I think it's dependent on the use case. If you use your phone for intensive workloads a lot, like recording videos or um, a lot of gaming, then you might be more concerned about overheating. But we don't even know how much better the iPhone 16 is. They claim that it should handle thermals better, but we don't know if the problem has actually been resolved. There's a chance that the iPhone 16 might overheat just as often or close to as often. Um, the white 14 Pro looks whiter than the white 16 Pro. Really? That's interesting. Then the white 15 Pro must not be very white at all. Thoughts on M4 iMac? Very little. It'll be the exact same iMac as today, just with an M4 chip. And I don't like the iMac design that they have today. What could they release for the iPhone 17 that would really make a bigger difference compared to the 16 series? Just design? I like you say just design. I'm like, what could design even do? Yeah, I think the big change will be that promotion will come to the non-pros. That'll probably be the biggest thing. There's talk about this slimmer model that's going to be super thin, but I don't understand it. I think it's a folding phone. I don't understand how they're going to make a super thin phone that's more expensive and has worse battery life and worse cameras. I'm like, that isn't none. The rumors aren't making sense to me, but I would believe that they were coming up with a super thin iPhone if it was going to be folded in half. So maybe we'll see Apple's first foldable next year. An iPad is an iPad. It's only good for you to stream movies. Yeah, which you can do on a very old iPad. Do you think Apple will ever skip an iPhone year to move to a 2 year cycle? No, because are people that will buy the new one every year regardless with the iPhone upgrade program. iPhone upgrade program really kind of kills the point in uh, upgrading every year. Plus, you want to have the latest and greatest silicon and tech available because in a 2 year cycle, there would be people buying 18-month-old iPhones for full price. So Apple needs to try to keep the refreshes coming so that whenever you do come into the Apple store to pick up a new iPhone, you're getting something that's relatively recent technology. Um, because people just upgrade all the time. It's such a popular segment. People aren't just upgrading in September, they're upgrading all throughout the year. And there's still going to be some people buying iPhone 15s all the way up till August. So you want to make sure that they're at least getting a somewhat recent hardware. Um, yeah, I don't think they're ever going to skip a year personally, but um, Cred says whatever they're cooking up, I'm gonna buy it unless it's more than $1,500. Yeah, there's probably a lot of people like that. So Apple would be leaving free money on the table to skip a year. I've seen reviews from those who, but they skip other things, by the way. Like they didn't make a new Apple Watch Ultra. They wait on things like the Apple Watch SE because sometimes they just don't have better technology. If a year goes by and they're like, yeah, we haven't come up with anything, then they'll just skip it. Uh, Matt says, would you do an Amazon renewed over a trusted seller on eBay? Hmm. That's a tough one. I could see myself going either way. I just ordered a new charge brick from eBay because it was from a seller that had sold many items and had good reviews, so felt trustworthy. But I think usually a lot of the sellers on eBay support returns. So normally anytime. I know eBay is very, very much known for siding with buyers. If you're gonna get screwed on eBay, it's as a seller is the lesson I've learned. My cousin Matt in the chat has sold a lot of things on eBay, and I've heard people, other stories from eBay sellers say that, oh man, if the buyer gets upset, they can get their money back, and the seller can get screwed really easily. So, I think you're much better off uh, buying on eBay than selling. Um, I feel like they made a redesigned YouTube. You made a YouTube UI. That's cool. It's not hard to make a better one than YouTube, that's for sure. Um, for what you guys receive with the iPhone, their prices aren't crazy. It's just my belief that their storage options should adjust, probably 256 gig minimum. Well, they do that for a reason because they know that you're supposed to look at it and go, "Oh, that's not quite enough. I need a little more." So, ideally, they try to space the storage options so that you buy more than you need. They do that on purpose, but anywho, um, which Apple Watch will you get? I'm not getting one. Series 10 was boring, not interesting. Nothing about it looked compelling to me. I didn't review the Series 9 last year, and I'm not reviewing the Series 10 this year. It's just not that different. Um, Unless it's a scam, it's usually the seller getting screwed. Right, I agree. Most of the time. Black Ultra 2 looks good, but still way too big. They're definitely slimming it down next year. We'll see. I'm not sure. I think that there's a certain level of advantages. Um, Sorry, people are texting me. I'm getting confused. Smartwatches are dumb. Tell them why, Drew. I don't think they're dumb. I just don't think they're for everybody. I mean, it's saving you the step of pulling your phone out, which not everybody wants to do or has the time to do, or they like having a quick little notification. I wore an Apple Watch for many years, but I just financially speaking, I wanted to see if I could get by without one, and you inspired me with your minimalism and all that. So if you can get by without them, I think you save some money that way, which is cool. But um, Paradise says I'll probably never get another Apple Watch. Last one I had was my Series Zero, and I just don't need it. Well, for me, with all the traveling we've done, I've discovered it's kind of nice to not have to have another cable to pack around. I like just having one brick and one USB-C cable. In fact, it was so nice that I forgot it in Colorado after visiting Randy. It was like, shoot. Uh, I've gotten so used to traveling light that I'm not even packing everything. But yeah, I don't like having another cable and another battery to charge and worry about. I've already got AirPods, iPhone, Mac. I like keeping it as simple as possible. When it comes down to Apple refurbished and Amazon's renewed premium service, do they disinfect and clean the item? Oh, I'm sure they do, but Apple does a lot more though. Apple replaces the battery and the outer shell. I don't think Amazon Renewed Premium does that. Renewed Premium just is a certain set of standards that says this has to be in really good condition, and the return policy is much longer. I don't think the Amazon I mean, Apple certified refurbished is not that long of a return policy. I think it's still 14 days. Um, Acceptable condition on Amazon Renewed has been better condition than even great condition I've purchased on eBay. Yeah, they're probably not quite the same on the conditions. That's true. Let's see. I'm too cheapskate for the Apple Watch. I use a 20-pound Xiaomi Band 5 when I want to watch. I guess whatever's cheap. Let me buy a $1,200 phone, then instead of using it, I buy a secondary screen for $300 and never pull my $1,200 phone out. Well, we use our phones a lot, so I think there's times where, of course, they use their phone, but there's other times where they don't want to take it out and they just want to get a notification at a quick glance. Plus, there's all of the health tracking stuff. Some people like tracking their health. You know, my wife still uses a Series 3, so I'm not trying to call her stupid, but also she's not the one spending $1,200 on a phone. You know, my wife is the kind of person that I think she got the Apple Watch for free because a friend of ours just didn't want it anymore and gave it to her. So she spent no money on the Apple Watch and wants to spend $300 on her phone. So I don't think it's that outrageous. Uh, just 2 to 3 weeks. Any chance it could come before then? Yeah, in the past, sometimes the Apple Store app is a little generous with how long the timelines take, but um, AirPods Max didn't get really anything new. No, they did them dirty. It was so rude. It was so mean. I can't believe what they did to AirPods Max. Yeah, nothing about the Series 10 was exciting to me. I don't think it's worth reviewing. I don't think I have much to say. Um, does Louise use AirPods? Yeah, she has AirPods too, the same pair I had way back in 2019. My dad uses a Series 2. No idea how he's the one person I respect for using one. Series 2, man, I'm surprised the battery is not shot on that thing. Drew Picken says this is the first year I'm not upgrading. That's good. I think this is the year to skip. I don't think it's a very substantial year for the most part. The camera control button has me feeling like you guys are kind of running out of ideas, aren't you? You're not really sure what to do now, are you? Um, Worth buying is the AirPods Pro 2 with USB-C. I try to get my Lightning one stolen, so I have a reason to buy the USB-C one. That's funny. Yeah, AirPods Pro 2 are an amazing deal. Amazing product. Don't buy them from Apple though. You can buy them on Amazon for under $200. Brand new, by the way. I'm not talking renewed. Um, it's been a skip year every year since the 13. The 13s were cool. Uh, yeah, the 14s were so bad. I didn't upgrade on the 14s. I came around on the 15s because I was such a sucker for USB C. We'll see if I'm a sucker for studio grade microphones. I really got to try them out to know if they're worth it. Um, do you know how long Apple Care plans monthly can go on before they don't allow it? Never bought Apple Care. I know nothing about it. I'm really not very experienced in it. I would ask them. I don't care about Apple Intelligence. Not worth $1,600 for a button. Yeah, this is a decent year to skip. I'm with you. What up, Drew? Not pre-ordering. I have a 15 Pro Max. That's a great phone. I don't think you need to upgrade. I'm with you. Um, every year Apple just needs to add one feature that Drew wants. Well, there's a lot of features that are cool, but I don't want. Like I could totally live without the camera control button. I at least maybe I need to try it and maybe I'll change my mind. But on the surface, it does not look very interesting to me. I'm like, you just zoom in like this instead of like this. Okay, maybe it's just me, but I don't zoom in a lot. And when I do, pinching like this is not that hard. I pull out my phone and I use my two thumbs and I'm done. So I don't see the big deal. But nothing Apple Intelligence has convinced me like, oh, I'm gonna use that all the time. I'm not a big user of digital assistants anyway. I don't use Siri all that much. Um, so the fact that, oh, it understands context and you can ask it to send all these pictures, it's like, I probably could, but I still don't really trust it to know exactly which pictures I want it to send. Same thing with priority notifications. It's like, yeah, I'll probably just leave that off because I want to make sure I'm getting the notifications I care about. I'm pretty good at filtering out notifications anyway. I will try it. That's why I pre-ordered it. So maybe I'll change my mind when I have it, but so far I'm not that impressed with it. Um, on the surface at least. It doesn't look that great. God of Conquest, thank you for the super chat. I'm excited for the M4 MacBook Pro solely for better external display support. M1 MacBook external display support stinks for 4K 120 hertz over HDMI. Do you think they'll improve it with the M4? I mean, or are you? I mean, the M3 MacBook Pros already have much better external monitor support with HDMI 2.1 and everything. Um, Mike says, I don't zoom in a lot, but when I do, I prefer those fingers. Honestly, I hold my phone like this a lot and I pick it up and hold it, and I'm worried that the camera control button is right where my phone rests in my palm and I'm going to set it off on accident all the time. I'm kind of worried about the positioning of it. Cuz it is a physical button, by the way. It's not a solid I mean, there is taptic feedback, but it's not a solid state button like the rumor suggested. Um Hold the power button when you're all done with setup. What are you doing? Hold what power button? I'm wondering if the camera control will get in the way of clamps when I put it on a tripod. That's another concern I have. Luckily, it's recessed, so you shouldn't accidentally press it with a clamp. But the M4 will be newer, I guess. But I'm just saying, maybe the M4 coming out will be a good time to get an M3 at a discount because it's been out for a while. Palm rejection exists, but not for physical buttons. Physical buttons, uh, they just require pressure, and camera control can be activated just by you pressing the button. So if I pick up my phone and hold it and the palm presses the button, hopefully the fact that it's recessed means I won't accidentally trigger it all the time. We'll see, but it's a concern. Cousin Matt's headed out to work. Take care. Have a good one. How much discounted will M3 laptop be compared to M4? At least a couple $100. I'm just wondering, what does the M4 have that you need so badly? I don't know. We'll see. Um, do you always get Max models? No, I didn't buy the 15 Pro Max. I didn't buy the 14 Pro Max. Last time I got a Max model was the 13. This year I'm trying one out, but I'm still not completely sold on it. I might end up downgrading to the 16 Pro to save money if I discover that the Max is too big or too annoying. It's been a while since I've had a big phone. Um, It'll definitely cause issues with some smartphone tripod mounts. I have a newer cage for the 16 Pro, and the existing layout will have to change if they release an update. Well, I'm trying to visualize how, though, because the button is recessed. It is a physical button, but it's not protruding like the other buttons are. So you could clamp down on it with like a tripod mount, and I don't think it would touch it. But I guess you couldn't use it, so that would kind of defeat the point, right? I don't think the 16 Pro has better speakers. They didn't talk about that. It's probably the exact same speakers as the 15, but we've been live for a while. I'm pretty tired, but I got my pre-order in. I should be like close to first in line, if not first in line. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for all the incredibly generous super chats and all the new channel members. You all are far too generous, and I'm thankful for you. I hope everybody gets their phone as soon as possible. And if you're not upgrading, good on you, because these are very skippable iPhones this year. That's for sure. I'm ending the poll with over 1,800 votes. 57%, 56% got the 16 Pro Max. That's amazing. Very few people are getting the 16 Plus at 3%. And thank you all for tuning in. Are some tripod mounts that wide? I don't know. Mine aren't, but thank you all. And for their 10th super chat on his live stream, the very last super chat from Aiden Thompson. Thank you very much. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Bye bye.